Alright, hello everybody, it's me, Clock, and we're back with My Confounding Cat is Criminally Cute, chapter 3, okay? I left off last time. You might notice a break, because I, without an outro, because I had to go to sleep. I was playing this up until like 2 a.m. So, anyways, we're back, and, we're gonna bag this cat boy. We're gonna make him ours, okay? I'm pulled out of my slumber by a familiar meow, coupled with a familiar dampness on my cheek. I think last time we left off, we went to sleep without solving the curse for the cat boy, but we did make some progress, and I'm pretty sure we're goddamn in love with the cat now. I knew who the culprit behind that dampness is, and the meowing long before my eyelids flutter open. Blaze is perched on the bed beside me, peering at me with his large eyes. His expression is a winsome one, as winsome as a cat can manage, at least, and when our eyes meet, he mews again. Please don't nut on the cat, chat. Meow. Blaze gives me another lick, despite my earlier warnings, and I sigh. I already told you, I get it. Stop nagging me. Please do not the cat. Wait for him to be a cat boy. At least! I push Blaze away. Okay! Grousing under my breath all the while. Well, at least this time you nut on the boy, I guess. I'm in a pretty foul mood this morning, which isn't anything new. I'm always in a foul mood when I wake up. I'm not a morning person, not by any stretch of the imagination. How I was able to haul my sorry behind out of bed every morning to attend my 8 o'clock classes at Oleander Academy is a mystery to me. Clock reference. No. I was relieved after graduating that I'd no longer be beholden to anybody's schedule, which was true enough until Blaze came into my life. He might be a cat, in this form at least, but it feels like I'm marching to the beat of his drum. It's quite infuriating, actually. But I can understand his urgency. There's no time to waste. If I want to help Blaze, which I do, if only because helping him will get him out of my hair, then I need to press on. Stop nutting! Chat! I antagonized Angelique over this. I can't afford to let all that fuss be for nothing. Alright. I sit upright, then slap both of my cheeks with my palms in an attempt to invigorate myself. It doesn't really work. Mostly it just stings, but an attempt was made. Let's get some breakfast, and then we can figure out our next plan of attack. It's much too soon to give up now. I still have no idea how I will be able to break the curse Charmaine placed on Blaze, but I refuse to give up. Do not keep going. No matter what happens, I want to do my best. If you nut on me one more time, chat, I'm gonna nut on you. Nut. Alright, it's happening. Come on. Sorry, this is gonna take a while. I'm not gonna do that, you sickos. You think I'm gonna get on your level? Oh my, and someone nut to that. Someone nut to that. I can't win either way. I can't do it. Oh no! Do not unfollow, unless you're a coward. Hey Blaze, I had an idea yesterday. While I was reading through those books at the library, if you'd like to hear it, of course. I'm gonna do something back, it'll be golden. What do you mean? Meow. Blaze was in the middle of chowing down on his breakfast, but he pauses when I posit this question to him. He looks up at me, his tail twitching, all expectant-like, so much so I can't help but smile. Blaze might annoy me in his human form, but he's easier to deal with when he's a cat. Maybe it's because he can only reply with murr, meow, and meow. He causes me far fewer headaches like this, minus that one time when he fell down the flue of my chimney, and that other time when he got ensnared by a Mandragora, and that time only yesterday when... Oh, alright, he's still a pain when he's a cat, but he's less of a pain. I'm not anxious around the cat part. I'm anxious around the big, strong cat boy part. Ow! Okay, never mind. I'm not anxious around that either. I'm just so floozy. I'm just a floozy. I feel kind of woozy. I don't think I got much sleep last night. I don't have much of an appetite either. At the present, I'd far rather take the lesser of two evils. Yeah, I thought you might be interested. I have a few leads when it comes to making potions that ought to reverse Charmaine's curse. I don't know if any of these leads will amount to anything, but I figured I might as well pursue them. I stocked up on ingredients yesterday, so I've got a bunch of rare stuff to hand for these experiments, but the potion I have in mind will call for some mustard seed and yarrow roots. Please do not bonk me. I appreciate that, Mint. I think I should be able to find both of these in the forest, if you want to come with. It might take a while to find everything, though. Will that be alright? Meow. Ooh, how enthusiastic. I like that. Are you up for it then, my charming assistant? Meow. Blaze meows again, his tail twitching, and nuzzles his head against my shin. It's a pretty affectionate gesture, one which makes me smile. You had a hero. You saved me!
No.
My chat! He still has to finish the ad! That's hilarious. Hearts for Enux, please. Go ahead. Thank you, Enuxius, for the gifted sub. What a hero. If Blaze was in his human form, I'd balk at his being so very touchy-feeling, but... well, he's not a human right now, but a cat, which makes this all a lot less awkward. He's so amenable as a cat. In fact, I think it'll be a bit of a shame turning him back into a human 24/7. But I guess that's the price I'll have to pay for helping him. Of course, Geb would nut when I mentioned turning him back into a man. I'm not going to call it quits now. Giving up simply isn't in my dictionary. What the hell did you just type? Largely because that's a phrase which is comprised of two words. Sure, buddy. Sure. Alright, sounds like you're raring to go. I don't know if I've quite as much energy as you clearly do. I don't have a tail I can twitch for one, but I'll give it my all. Looking for ingredients can be a pretty lonely occupation, but having you around should make it that much more enjoyable. Let's both do our best. Oh, mushroom picking. Let me see. I love mushroom picking with the boys. The way their zippers go down is so nice. I'm kneeling at the base of a tall, sturdy oak on the hunt for ingredients. A basket dangles in the crook of my arm, inside which is stuffed several different varieties of mushroom, some brightly colored flowers, and a few different sorts of grass. Tree Ussie. I found quite a lot of ingredients already, including the mustard seed, but the yarrow roots my potions require remain maddeningly elusive. Mint, all you need to know about this game is that there's a cat, he was a human, and we're trying to reverse his curse, okay? Think of like Shrek when they had to reverse Fiona's curse, okay? But we do want him to stay as a cat. 100. Because he keeps sexually harassing me when he's a cat boy. I knew this would be tricky before I set off, so had already prepared myself to spend several hours in the forest for the sake of my pursuit. My foreknowledge doesn't make this any less aggravating, though. I've been out in the woods for an hour already, and the heat is beginning to make me feel weary. It's a warm day, warmer than it has been in a while, and though the verdant leaves overhead are going a ways to blot out the sunshine, they're not wholly successful. The leaves shift in the breeze, and when they do, a few shafts of golden sunlight spill onto the nape of my neck. Excuse me, what shaft is spilling on the back of my neck? Excuse me? What did I just read? It's so unpleasantly warm. I'm starting to get sweaty. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered wearing my cape. At this point, it just feels like dead weight. Sorry, by the way. I sigh, my eyes downcast as I continue my hunt. I'm scrabbling about in the dirt like a demented rabbit, as though this might further my cause. Of course, it doesn't. I can't find those blasted yarrow roots anywhere. This is proving to be such a production. I'm fairly fond of the natural world, I wouldn't live smack dab in the middle of it otherwise, but I find it easier to appreciate the trees and the flowers when I'm inside, sipping a cup of tea with a good book in my lap. The natural world is far less appealing when I have to get this intimately acquainted with it. Inflation? Yeah, I'll be raising the price on nut. We'll be raising the price on that for sure. Inflation's gonna go hard. Who likes getting their fingernails dirty? Maybe I'm being a bit precious, though. Blaze sure looks like he's having fun. Poor YouTube, we need you. We need you to nut unclock, YouTube. No! YouTube frog, stay losing. He's been darting about ever since we set off, after birds and rubbing his cheek against the rough bark of the trees that we pass. Bro's literally turning into a cat. I can't say I see the appeal, but I guess I don't need to. I'm not a cat. Though Blaze isn't either. Ah, in the forest I can fart as much as I want, I suppose. He's certainly getting into his role. I can't help but wonder whether Blaze isn't acting more and more like a cat with every passing day. Is Charmaine's enchantment starting to take an even greater effect on him? She did say if we couldn't break the spell within a week, he'll be stuck as a cat forever. Blaze is acting quite carefree about the whole thing, but it's worrying me. It was because of this worry that I wound up making an enemy out of Angelique. I went to help Blaze, but how can I if I can't find all these sodding ingredients? Now, where are you hiding? Come here, I'm not asking for much here. Can't you give a guy a break? I'm doing this for selfless reasons, for once. I'm not even going to make any money when I find you. I'm just trying to help a friend. I continue my search, scattering clods of soil as I do so. I'm so enraptured in my attempts to find this yarrow root, I don't hear the underground rustling, not until it's too late. I do, however, hear a startled meow issuing forth a few paces away. No. Stop that, you sicko! What was that? I turn, my eyes wide, and then... I gasp. Blaze isn't in trouble, but I sure am. A Mandragora is towering in front of me, its vines twitching like something obscene, the petals of its flowery head undulating in the breeze. Thanks, Mencia. Most Mandragora tend to look rather similar. They're all plant monsters, after all, but there's something funny about this one. The vines which protrude from its left-hand side look badly singed. For a few moments, I wonder whether this mightn't be the same Mandragora which attacked Blaze come back, maybe to finish the job. I do not need your nut, chat. But I don't have much time to turn this thought over. The giant monster descends upon me, its vines unfurling. And then it grabs me. You thought this was a cat boy, wholesome boys love? Tangled up. This isn't what I signed up for. Chat, you thought this was a wholesome cat boy love story? No, it's a dirty tentacled Japanese hentai. The Mandragora hauls me into the air with such ease, I might as well be a stuffed animal. I know I'm on the short side as far as young men go, but geez, this isn't doing a lot for my self-esteem. I'm not on the short side, by the way.
No.
I'm not on the short side, chat. I'm usually average or tall. I can feel its vines winding about me, squeezing me. It's pretty intimate, as far as embraces go, but I can't say I care for it all that much. I'd rather be in Blaze's arms. Not that I particularly want that to happen either. I simply mean if I had to choose between this horrible, leafy monster and Blaze, I'd go with him. That doesn't mean I like Blaze or anything. Is it bad to be short? There's nothing wrong with being short. I'm just not short. But I don't suppose that is relevant right now. Why am I getting distracted during an important time like this? I need to focus. I wince as the vines which secure me begin to squeeze. It feels like this monster is trying to choke me. Does it mean to put me out of my misery? I guess that'd be awfully kind of it. If so, I don't want to shuffle off this mortal coil just yet. I still need to help Blaze, damn it. How could I lose against a Mandragora of all things? They're not even smart enough to plan. I never thought they were, at least, but... And did I underestimate these monsters? That wouldn't be too unusual for me, I guess. I have a tendency to downplay other people's abilities. Wait, I was much the same about Charmaine. I thought her curse would be a fairly trivial thing to break, but it's caused me quite a lot of trouble. This whole week has been bloody troubling, come to think of it. If Blaze had never fallen down my chimney, I never would have tried to save him, and I never would have headed off into the forest for ingredients. Then none of this would be happening. I'd be back in the safety of my ramshackle home, working on my self-indulgent potions, quite content. I don't want to get caught up in situations like this. But it's too late to worry about such things now. My regrets won't change the reality of my situation. Not that I regret taking Blaze in. None of this is his fault. I should have been more careful, that's all. The Mandragora continues to squeeze me over and over. I'm all bound up like a newly slaughtered rabbit. But unlike a slaughtered rabbit, I'm fully aware of what's happening to me. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though. I need to try and distract this monster somehow, but... I don't know how. I don't know what to do. Continue to hang there, being squeezed to within an inch of my life, all the while trying and failing to get free when... I hear an angry hissing noise several meters behind me. What was that? I wasn't moaning, I was making the sounds the game told me to. Which sounded like moans. I glanced down at the forest floor, alarmed, and... Blaze? It looks like Blaze is trying to launch an offense against this monster. His eyes are narrowed and his teeth are barred. A little like a guard dog's. He darts forwards, but I know what's going to happen long before he reaches the Mandragora. Blaze would be smaller than this Mandragora even in his human form, but he's just a cat right now. He's a small, delicate creature, defenseless, almost. He's no match for a Mandragora. His claws and his teeth won't be able to make so much as a dent in that thing, but he still tries. He hisses and he spits, he yowls and he bites, and then... The Mandragora strikes him. No! A vine relinquishes its grip on me, then snakes down to strike Blaze in the stomach. Blaze! Blaze's small body gets blown away with the ease I might cast a pebble into the ocean. No! My boyfriend! He sails through the air, his ears pressed back against his skull. Then there's a sick crunch. His body hits the gnarled trunk of a nearby tree, and like a discarded glove puppet, he hits the ground. Blaze! I scream, Blaze. Stop, you fuckers. I scream Blaze's name as loudly as I can, but he doesn't stir. The monster has incapacitated him. Shit. Yeah, we need to cast Fireball already. It's my own stupid fault that this Mandragora captured me. Blaze didn't need to jump into the fray and make himself a victim. He would have been better served if he'd run away, but of course Blaze didn't do that. I should have known that he wouldn't. He did his best to help me, and look where it's gotten him. He's lying beneath a tree, his body all bent and broken, and fuck, why did he have to be so stupid? He hasn't broken any bones, has he? That Mandragora gave him a thorough beating. The sound Blaze made when he hit the ground was sickening. He put himself in harm's way all for my stupid sake, and so needlessly too. It's because of me that Blaze got hurt. But I can still set this right. I'm gonna teach this vile monster... Oh, wait. I'm gonna teach this... I can still set this right. I'm gonna teach this vile monster a lesson if it's the last thing I do. Sorry, I've been hitting the spacebar by accident. You awful creature! How dare you pick on a creature so much smaller than you? Going after me is one thing, but going after Blaze? I can't forgive you for that. I shift about in the Mandragora's viney grasp. It's a bit hard to move around, but I have just enough leeway to move my right arm. I just need a couple more centimeters and then... I'm dead. Did you guys just make me moan to the part? I'm just about to raise my hand, and the moment I do, I shout, "Burn!" Flames burst from the palm the moment I recite my spell. These flames are more powerful than the ones I last used to send this Mandragora packing. It might have survived my last attack, but I won't let it survive this. My magic is already plenty potent, but it's stronger than usual, thanks to my overwhelming emotions. The vines seizing me explode in plumes of bright, burning red and orange. The fire is so violent the Mandragora cries from it. The vines holding me fast burn away to nothing, and with no means of supporting myself, I fall. My body plummets to the ground, my mantle whipping about around me, but I'm still able to fight. I'm able to still my flight with another well-timed spell. Wind! Yeah, we got hentai'd. I cast a pocket of air on the ground beneath me before I can hit the dirt. Supported by this air, I swivel about and point my palm in the Mandragora's direction. The Mandragora is flailing, half of its body on fire, but I'm not done with it yet. Yeah, I'm killing this thing. Burn, burn, burn. I shoot volley after volley of powerful fire magic at the Mandragora. Fireball, fireball, fireball! I cast fireball! Soon the whole monster is ablaze, black acrid smoke emanating from its singed vines. I doubt it'll be able to walk this attack off, but I fire another spell at it just to be doubly certain. Cleave! The Mandragora's whole body stiffens, it twitches. Then, an invisible beam of energy bisects its charred, burnt body in two. The Mandragora howls, perhaps in pain, before it collapses. Oh! The cursed fire which consumes its body burns itself out. The Mandragora's corpse stills, oozing a noxious, sticky sap all over the forest floor. I approach the Mandragora cautiously and nudge it with the tip of my boot. It doesn't stir. It really is dead. I might have gone a little far, but I think it deserved it. Well, I did warn you. That's just what you get for hurting Blaze. Speaking of which, Blaze? I turn my attention towards my fallen comrade. Blaze is lying in the tall grass beneath the base of an oak tree. His legs are sticking out at an awkward angle, and his body is worryingly still. Shit. I scrabble forward and kneel down, scooping Blaze into my arms. Blaze? Hey, Blaze? Are you alright? Blaze's ears are folded back and his small fluffy body is trembling. I'm a little, make that a lot, worried about him. But a cursory glance reveals that he doesn't seem to be too badly injured. Can't see any serious cuts at least, but his fur does go a ways to obscuring this. My fingers, however, are starting to feel unsettlingly sticky. He isn't bleeding, is he? Damn it, that's all I need. Oh, he ain't bleeding, Chad. It's sticky? Are you alright, Blaze? Meow at me if you are. Don't go dying on me, you stupid cat. Meow. Blaze purrs in a muted sort of way, looking at me through half-lidded eyes. His expression is pained, but he still seems to be hanging in there, for the present at least. That's a relief if nothing else. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Just hang in there, alright? I'll take you back to mine. I can wash you then, and bandage you up, if you need it. How does that sound? Meow. Oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about gathering the rest of the ingredients. We can do that tomorrow. Your safety is much more important. Meow. I know. Maybe I am a softie. But what do you expect? Jumping to my defense like that. Hey, yo! What do you mean? What are you, Deku? You worried me so much, you stupid thing. I sigh, then seeing Blaze's nose twitch force a smile. Everything's gonna be okay, though. I'll take good care of you. I promise. Oh, okay. Half an hour later, another Mandragora has appeared. Phew. Doesn't look like things were as bad as I feared, but really, what in the world were you doing? You should have been more careful. Now, don't give me that. I was worried about you, you know. Yes, I was. Do you really need to ask? I thought that should have been obvious, based on how quickly I hurried back home with you, you big dummy. Also, by the way, the cat understands everything we're saying because he's a human, but we have no idea what he's actually saying because he's still speaking cat. I prod the tip of Blaze's nose, which makes him meow again. Meow. That's right. Say you're sorry. I think I deserve at least that much. Good grief. I click my tongue, and then bend down to give Blaze another examination. I finished checking his wounds, and unfortunately, they don't look to be all that serious. Clock, you speak in Japanese almost every day you stream. What do you mean by that? What does that mean? I'm just talking. He was bleeding a little bit, but the wound was shallow, and it wasn't, thank goodness, inflicted on a particularly delicate spot. His right leg sustained a couple of cuts, as did the base of his tail, but these weren't too tough to treat. I bathed Blaze's cuts, then cast some simple healing spells on his leg and his tail to stop the bleeding. I think Blaze got off pretty lucky, given how huge and hulking that Mandragora was. He could have easily have been knocked unconscious or worse. The mere thought is disturbing. But there's no point in dwelling on what could have happened. He doesn't look like he's in much pain, which is a relief, though he did hiss a bit as I bathed his cuts. I think that might be par for the course with cats, however. They aren't known for their affinity with water. I wonder whether Blaze's likes and dislikes become more cat-like while being forced to assume the form of a feline. That might be part of Charmaine's curse. Still not sure how Charmaine's curse functions. I was hoping to whip up some practice potions to feed him, but that would probably be a bad idea. I wasn't able to get the ingredients I wanted from the forest, which rendered my trips outdoors moot. But even if I had, I don't think Blaze is in any fit state to be used as a test subject. Me and my homies all hate Charmaine! I know from past experiences that some of my work in progress concoctions can be a little too potent. I've made myself sick several times in the past, trying experimental potions which weren't fit for human consumption. I don't want to make Blaze sick on top of the injuries he sustained. Angelique might have accused me of there being cold, and maybe I am. But I'm not cruel alongside it. Or at least, I try not to be. I guess today will have to be a rest day. I don't want you overexerting yourself. Mer. It's too potent equals to more hung. What the fuck? Put hashtag Charmaine hate gang in the chat if you hate hashtag Charmaine. I hate hashtag Charmaine. Take a sip. No, I'm not going to go ahead with the experiments. I don't care if you think you can take it. I've decided you can't, and as I'm the one in charge, what I say goes. Morale. Oh? Do you think I'm being too careful? Mer. You don't mind trying all sorts of weird and wonderful potions? You say that now, but I'm sure you'll be singing a different tune once I start pouring potentially noxious fluids down your gullet. You don't have a death wish, do you? No, he has a cat wish. Mer. Huh, that was a stupid question. You're right. If you were any smarter, you wouldn't have jumped out that Mandragora like that. I should have known you'd say that. Mer. So, you still want to go ahead with our plan? Blaze nods. He looks pretty enthused about this, despite the injuries he's sustained. But this isn't enough to move. Instead, I need to make him shut down. Sure, I can start experimenting on you, but we'll have to delay it until tomorrow. You need the time to rest. Meow. Sorry, but no can do. These are my conditions. You'll just have to accept them. You might think you're invincible, but today's events tell me otherwise. You need to take better care of yourself, otherwise you'll just make yourself feel even worse. And I didn't take you in, you know, just to make you suffer. I took you in so I can Kit. I just want the best for you. Meow. Now I sound like a nagging parent? Mer. Well, good. Somebody needs to look out for you, because you obviously can't do it yourself. I swear. I sigh, then give the tip of Blaze's pink, twitching nose another prod. You really are a handful. No, the cats will not be touched. But the cat boy, I make no promises. Later that night. Oh, I almost forgot the voice I was giving him. Hey, Aster. I glance at Blaze, who's assumed his human form once more. I was in the middle of reading through some of my old books, but Blaze's voice has rather distracted me from my noble pursuits. I had no idea I've been reading through these old books for as long as I had, but I guess the time must have escaped from me. Yes, exactly that. Literally Shrek. It has a tendency to do that when I start focusing. What do you want? You're not going to tell me to turn in for the night, are you? Oh no, I'd never be silly enough to do that. I get the feeling that you don't like being told what to do, and even if I tried, I doubt you'd listen to me. You're so bullheaded. Well, it takes one to know one. You're in no position to talk after that stupid stunt you pulled in the forest. Why did you jump to my defense like that? It doesn't seem like the best of plans. Not when you were about this tall. I gesture with my right hand. And the Mandragora was this tall. Wasn't it obvious that would happen? It was obvious, yeah. But I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I don't think you were thinking at all. You acted incredibly rashly. You should count yourself fortunate for only sustaining a few cuts and bruises. That could have been nasty. I know, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. You did a good job patching me up. I'm very glad to hear that, but I was a bit worried myself. You were? Naturally, I might be a genius wizard, but I'm not a miracle worker. If you sustained wounds much deeper than the ones you did, you might have been a goner. I'm a goner. Somebody catch my breath. I was listening to that song today. Wow, when you put it like that, it sounds kind of serious. That's because it was serious. You could have died. Clock hacked the game to where Blaze says says what I want him to say. Well, I could just do it for you. I know you act first and ask questions later, but that was rash, even for you. Were you worried about me, Aster? Of course I was worried. I was very, very worried. I've not put all this effort into trying to break your stupid curse. I gestured to the old book lying on my desk. For you to go getting yourself maimed, mauled, and murdered. Genius though I might be, I can't bring people back from the dead. That's an arcane art that's a little bit beyond my abilities. I'm just like dying today. I need to drink some water. I'm having a stroke. Let me just make sure I can blink with both eyes. Blaze is your hubby? Back off. He's my boyfriend. He's my cat. I get it. I'm sorry I was so stupid, Aster. I really didn't mean to make you worry, though. Well, you did a jolly good job at it. I can tell. You don't look well. I didn't think I'd upset you so much, but like I said, I wasn't thinking. I guess I don't know. I panicked when I saw you all caught up in those vines. You might have been afraid for me, but I was afraid for you too, you know. I wanted to help you. It seemed only fair, really, when you've been going out of your way to help me. I was trying to make myself useful. It didn't really occur to me that I might not be much use at physical combat with my tiny body. I think I forgot that I was a cat. You forgot? How is that even possible? Dude, bro is literally Deku. I knew Blaze was scatterbrained, but this is something else. Well, yeah, I've not been a cat for all that long. Not in the grand scheme of things. Cut me some slack, Aster. I don't see why I should when you put yourself in so much danger, which was quite unnecessary, I might add. I'm more than enough to take on a puny Mandragora. You should have known that. I saved you from one of them already, remember? I know, but you yelled so loudly when it caught you. I was afraid you were a goner. I'm a goner. Somebody catch my breath. I wanna be with... Sorry. I'm getting a little distracted. The song's in my head now. That's why. I yelled because I was surprised. One moment I was looking for toadstools, and the next I was 5 meters in the air. Of course it gave me a start. I could still use magic, though. I would have been fine. Oh, wait, no. I could still use magic, though. I would have been fine. There was no need for you to get involved. Even if the Mandragora was holding me so tightly, it was hard for me to lift my arms. We've been here for 1 hour and only had 24 views. Damn. Feels bad, man. Please leave the stream. Everybody, please leave the stream. I'm trying to have some alone time. I didn't tell Blaze that, though. I don't want him to say that he told me so. You say you wanted to help me, but you just caused a bunch of problems instead. Bye. Have a beautiful time. You need to learn to mind your own business. Leave everything to me. It's obvious you can't be trusted. Otherwise, you never would have gotten cursed in the first place. No, don't leave Ghost, not you. Well, I guess I can't argue with that. I did make quite a hash out of things, didn't I? I didn't know you cared so much, really, but... I'm sorry, Aster. I was out of line. I'll try to be less impulsive from now on. I hope you can forgive me for being such an idiot. Blaze's apology is heartfelt, but it makes me wince regardless. I know I ought to be glad that he's seen the error of his ways, but I can't take much pleasure in it. His apology doesn't negate the fact that he put his life in danger, and for my sake no less. He did that to help me. He did it because he cared. His attempts at help were poorly conceived, but he acted with good intentions. Maybe I'm being unfair, scolding him like a naughty child. Oh, he's a naughty boy. Not really, though. I was worried, yes, but everything did work out alright in the end. He only sustained a few wounds, and they were shallow ones at that. I don't think they're bleeding anymore. I should drop this. There's no need to be so angry. No, it's fine. It is? Yeah, I'm sorry too. For snapping at you, I mean. You don't deserve that. Not after everything you did. What? Getting in the way, you mean? You did that, yes. But it was quite sweet, in a sense, that you leapt to my defense so readily. If only Charmaine had turned you into a lion rather than a cat, then you really might have been able to show that Mandragora what for. Aw, man, I'm so stuffed. I'm stuffed. I'm holding back. The voices! They're telling me to say the line. A lion, huh? Now that would be pretty neat. I'm not sure if I'd even want to turn back into a human if I was that strong. That sounds like fun. You're so fickle. I snort, but without any genuine disdain. Can't stay mad at Blaze, no matter how trying he is. For all his faults, I don't think he's a bad person. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna say the thing that we all thought. He might have a few bad habits, but I don't think they're inherent to him as a person. He was just dealt a rotten hand in life. I can't judge him for that. I'm glad you're not really a cat or a lion. I quite like talking to you when you're a human. Hey yo! Stuff me with his what? Which is why I was so worried, I suppose. I didn't want you getting hurt. No nuts. No nuts for you, chat. What? Really? You're such a bleeding heart. At least I didn't wind up actually bleeding, unlike you. I frowned, then looked Blaze up and down. The spells I cast seemed to be working, because his cuts have all healed up and no longer bleeding. That's one thing to be thankful for, at least. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a bath. It should help you relax after everything that happened, even if your wounds have already closed up. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. I've not had a bath in ages. I have been feeling a bit groggy. Haha. Same here. I've not had the time. A certain somebody has been keeping me rather busy. Ha! I'm sorry about that. Will you be joining me for a bath then, Aster? You look like you could use it too. I wouldn't be opposed to the idea. Well, naturally, I was the one who suggested it. Alright then. Alright. Then it's a date. Let's get going. A date? What are you... I stammer, but I'm not afforded the chance to finish that remark. Blaze is already upon me. Yo, can I get a stretch check? His fingers curl about mine. And then he hauls me up onto my feet. He shifts me so suddenly. In fact, I stumble and almost fall forwards. The Blaze steadies me in his arms before I can hit the ground. Steady on, Aster. You're looking all uneasy there. Yes, well, what do you expect? I'm very delicate. I don't react well to being hauled around by a brute like you, and I have, like you yourself said, had a busy day. I've had more than enough excitement to be getting along with. And then it's a good thing we're gonna have a nice, relaxing bath, isn't it? Now why don't I race you there? As if that'll work. You don't even know where the nearest lake is. Oh yeah, I guess there is that. Honestly, I'm starting to regret my suggestion. I can't see what's so relaxing about spending time with you. That's what I say, at least, but inwardly, I don't mind Blaze's company all that much. I think it's rather diverting. I hadn't realized just how humdrum my existence was until now. Thought I was fine with being alone, but spending time with Blaze is proving me wrong. Maybe that's why I was so upset when he got earlier. I'm having more fun with him than I thought it was possible for me to have with another person, and I don't want to lose him. I don't even want to contemplate it. The thought is too depressing. No! That's why we have to turn him into a cat. A little while later. Hey yo! Hey yo! Finally, I'm free. Blaze sighs contentedly after stripping out of his shirt. He doesn't look at all embarrassed about being naked, which I guess is understandable. You didn't see that screenshot. Blaze's body, and I mean this is purely objective sense, of course, isn't the sort of body that's worth getting embarrassed over. I've not seen Blaze's naked chest before, but now I have. I can see it's much of a muchness with his forearms. It is in a word broad, and in two impressively broad. His chest ripples with the same muscles that line his arms, but not to an excessive extent. He isn't large enough to be so as to be intimidating, but I can tell that he exercises a lot. That, or he had exceedingly good-looking parents. I don't think my chest would ever look like that regardless of how much I exercised. I've always been slender and skinny ever since I was a small boy. I'm afraid it's an affliction I'll carry with me to the grave. Well, that's your problem. If you just start working out, boys, you need to eat right and work out depending on the body you want, okay? If you just work out and you don't eat a shit ton of protein, you ain't never gonna get that muscle, okay? I'm afraid it's an affliction I'll carry with me to the grave. I'm a lot paler than Blaze is too. His skin is His skin is his healthy bronze color, whereas mine is sallow, the color of spoiled milk. Oh, Aster, don't compare yourself to spoiled milk. Blaze's skin, meanwhile, seems to shimmer beneath the moonlight. It's pretty appealing. Hey, yo. Again, in an objective sense, it's not like I find him appealing or anything. I just think it would be ridiculous to deny that he's handsome. It would be like flying in the face of common sense. Blaze is a damn sight more good-looking than I am, and I think he knows it. He must, otherwise he wouldn't look so utterly at ease while being unclothed. Well, it's alright for some, isn't it? I harumph, one hand resting against my hip. Harumph. The lake is right there, only a few footsteps away, but I don't approach it. I don't bother. The prospect of taking a dip has suddenly lost all of its appeal. Take your bath, Stinky! Blaze doesn't seem to share my concerns, however. Does he ever? Because he grins, then he says, I can't wait to take a dip. Feels like it's been an age. This is gonna be a blast, but Aster, masculinity blast. Blaze glances down at my trousers, his eyes sparkling mischievously. Aren't you going to strip off yourself? It's a fair question, I guess. I've not made any motion to disrobe since we arrived at the lake, but it doesn't do much to counteract my self-consciousness. I glance away shyly, my teeth worrying my lower lip. I feel like I've gone back in time to the awkward, uncomfortable days when I was still a teenage boy back at Oleander Academy. The baths there were communal and I hated them. I'd always try to finagle it so I'd take my baths late at night, when nobody else was there, so none of my classmates could comment on my appearance. I guess I'm still a little awkward about it all. 5 years worth of incessant teasing will do that to a man. I'll get undressed in a sec. I was just taking in the atmosphere. The atmosphere, huh? That's right. I grip my teeth together. It's a cool night with a bit of a breeze, but I can still feel my cheeks turning pink. What a stupid excuse. It's so transparent I could laugh at myself. Maybe I would if I didn't feel so uneasy. Why in the world am I trembling so much? It's not like I'm being marched to the gallows. I'm just going to take a bath, and when I'm in the water, Blaze won't even be able to see me. It ought to be fine, but it's a nice night. I got distracted is all, looking at the moonlight on the water. How sappy. Blaze grins, then nudges me in the ribs with his elbow. I didn't know you were into the beauties of nature and all that stuff. Well, of course I'm into the beauties of nature. I live in the middle of the woods. I never would have chosen this residence if I couldn't appreciate the niceness of, oh, I don't know, a good tree. Really now. Hey, Aster, do you want to check this wood out? Blaze snickers. I thought you chose to live out in the middle of nowhere because you couldn't stand people. Well, that too. He knows me too well. But I find the forest preferable to Oxel. Even if it's more inconvenient, it's soothing out here, I guess. Blaze looks about the lake for a while. Its waters still and mirror-like beneath the star-scattered sky, then grins. Well, I'll grant you that. It is rather pretty out here. Even I can admit as much. No, me / Aster wouldn't. Oh, okay. Haha, wouldn't. But I think I'd rather get in the water, not stand about contemplating it. Aren't you going to come with? I will, in a second. Just give me a bit. And how much is a bit, huh? I thought you were going to come in with me. I'm going to come in you, but you'll forgive me if I don't feel compelled to strip my clothes off right this instant. We're not all A-okay with standing around half naked. Not like you. What? But Aster. I didn't know you had a problem with standing around half naked. Isn't that what you did the first night we spent together? Oh, now that was a low blow. He should count himself lucky I'm not a brute. I would have pushed him in the lake for that. I like how some of you noticed that that little slip I gave. I don't push Blaze, however. No, it would be a waste of time. Instead, I scowl at him and say, "That's because I didn't know you were a person back then, you nitwit. You deceived me." Not deliberately. Not deliberately, no, but I still feel cheated. Those were special circumstances. That was also like 3 days ago. You know that I'm a person now. There are no secrets between us. We're both guys, and we're both the same, more or less, beneath our clothes. Yeah, right. Come right in me? I mean camaraderie! Excuse me? That was really funny. What the fuck? Chat, you're so funny. What have you got to be so embarrassed about? It's not like I'm going to be staring at you, and I have already seen everything. I know you have. I know you have, and you weren't exactly complimentary. You said I was scrawny. Oh, come off it. You're not still upset about that, are you? So what if I am? What you said was rude. I'm self-conscious, you know. Yes, well, I can see that much. But I don't think you need to be, really. You don't? No. You might be littler than I am, but that's hardly a bad thing. We're all different. And I think you're pretty cute, too. What? I stare at Blaze, stunned into silence. Feels like my heart is swollen up to twice its usual size. That doesn't stop it from hammering, though, so fiercely that I worry it might shatter my ribs. I blush bright crimson. It must look like my cheeks are smeared with strawberry jam. How charming not! And stammering badly, I say, "You really think I'm cute?" Sure I do. I mean, you've gotta be. That Angelique woman likes you a lot, doesn't she? Slender boys must be her type. Oh, right. So that's what you meant. I pause, the blush on my face receding, and good riddance, before I feel capable of speaking again. There's no guarantee that Angelique thinks I'm attractive. This is all a hypothesis on your part. It is, yeah, but I think it's fairly likely. And what makes you think that, Common sense, maybe? I mean, you are cute, objectively speaking, of course. Objectively, of course. And what do you think? I think you're getting all bent out of shape about nothing. I'm not gonna judge, like I said. Now come on, Aster. Don't you want to take a... Oh, wait. Now come on, Aster. Don't you want to take a dip with me? It'd be a shame not to, since we came all the way out here. Don't leave me hanging. Blaze gives my side another nudge, perhaps in an effort to galvanize me, and I sigh. This is all beginning to feel more trouble than it's worth, but... Honka honka. Alright, fine. You win. I'll come in you. Just don't comment on my appearance, alright? It's not necessary. No, I won't. I'll be a perfect gentleman. You have my word. I'm not sure how much the word of a thief is worth. I murmur this under my breath. No, I'm coming in with him. Jeez. I murmur this under my breath, all the while tugging at my cape. But during this laborious process of undressing, I afford myself, unbeknownst to Blaze, a small smile. He infuriates me with his careless attitude, but spending time with him isn't too unbearable. He isn't a gentleman, no matter what he might say, but I don't mind that. I don't think I'd want him to be a gentleman. I like him plenty already. Hey, yo. Now this is the life. Oh, don't mind that. Don't mind that, chat. You didn't see nothing. Now this is the life. Blaze sighs contentedly, submerged all the way up to his waist in cool water. Yeah, I didn't screenshot that for my own purposes, chat. I didn't do that for myself. You wanna look? Oh! What's that bulge down there? Oh my god! He's leaning against the riverbank, his muscular forearms resting against the grass. He cheated on you. Yeah, with me. He looks entirely in his element, which in this case would be water, I guess. Not sure how fitting that is. Blaze is pretty energetic, so I've always likened him more to fire. But whatever. He doesn't look at all perturbed about the whole being naked thing. Not like me. I can't help but feel self-conscious, especially in comparison to Blaze. It helps, I guess, that we're both submerged by the water, so he can't see how much more than my shoulders. But geez, my shoulders are really slender compared to his. I really must look scrawny. It's not doing wonders for my self-esteem, but then again, being around Blaze rarely does. Can't help but compare myself to him, and in all sorts of regards, I find myself coming up short, in more ways than one. Maybe that's why I'm so short with him. Oh my god, please, I'm not short! It doesn't help that being near him makes my heart flutter so much either. Hey, Aster. Blaze, perhaps noticing my discomfort, I don't think I'm doing a very good job at hiding it, looks at me, then smiles. Are you alright over there? Oh, yes, I'm fine. Are you sure? Is something up? No, not really. Other than how maddeningly attractive I find Blaze, of course. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm being a bit grumpy. I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable, it's just... This is all very new to me, I guess. Spending time with other people, I mean. I'm not really used to it. I've been alone for a long time, so I'm not always sure how to react. You say that, but you don't seem to have any problems with me when I'm a cat. Well, yeah, that's because cats can't talk back. You're a lot easier to deal with when all you can say is meow. Haha, well, I guess that's true, but doesn't it ever get lonely? What does? Being on your own, I mean, with no company other than yourself? I think you said as much when you first took me in. Didn't you say you wanted a companion? Urgh. I pull a face. I've been uncharacteristically open with Blaze after I rescued him from that Mandragora, largely because I'd still thought that he was an ordinary cat. If I'd known the truth, I never would have taken him into my confidences. I wish he hadn't heard that, but wishing won't, of course, make any difference. My feelings can't alter reality, regardless of how potent they are. Since I have confided in Blaze already, even if it was inadvertent, I suppose I should deal with it. I don't have much else of a choice. I didn't used to be lonely, no. I always thought that being alone was what I wanted. I thought I preferred it, and for a while I did. I was happy in my cottage in the woods without anybody else to bother me. I lived several years like that, but I bite my lower lip. I guess it did become a bit gloomy after a while. My life was isolated, but I told myself that was still preferable to spending time with other people. There were fewer chances of getting hurt that way. Being with you, however... I look at Blaze. The moonlight is shining down on the crown of his head, so his long dark hair seems to shimmer. His mismatched eyes, which are half-lidded, look very striking, so much so I find a now familiar blush beginning to surface to my cheeks all over again. If only he wasn't so handsome. Gosh, this is difficult. I prefer you as a cat. Homophonic? No. Haruko, he's got homophobic eyes. He makes me feel less mixed up when he's a cat, at least. But even as a human, I suppose you're not too bad. Your company might be kind of fun, even. In small doses, at least. Huh. That isn't the highest praise a guy could have, but it's not all bad. I guess I'll take it. I'm not going to compliment you unequivocally, though. That'll only result in you getting a swelled head, and you absolutely don't need one of those. I think you think too highly of yourself already. Really? Oh, yes. I pout. You don't think about other people's feelings before you speak or before you act. You're really brash and impulsive, too. You ought to knock that off, otherwise I'll get pissed at you. Like you did when I tried to defend your honor against that awful Mandragora, you mean? Yes, just like that. For all you talk about trying to protect me. I make little quotation marks with my fingers, disrupting the rippling surface of the water as I do so. I can't say you really succeeded. You just made a bunch of problems for me, as a matter of fact. I'd like it if you could be a bit more concerned. I guess that's fair criticism. I've never been very good at changing my ways, but if it's for you, I guess I can try to turn over a new page. How does that sound? It sounds pretty good, provided you can actually make good on that promise, which I doubt. You don't trust me, Aster? About as far as I can throw you without using any magic, which is given how scrawny I am. Oh, jeez. Are you still stuck on that? Is it going to be very far? You've not done much to earn my trust. And yet, despite that, you still like me. Well, yeah, I don't hate you at least. But don't start acting like that was a confession, because it wasn't. We all have room for improvement. So, saying, I splashed some of the water into Blaze's face. Splashing people is pretty childish, but he brought it upon himself. That smug grin of his was starting to get on my very last nerve. He needs to be knocked down a peg. Oh, he needs to be knocked down and pegged, alright. That was the general thought process, at least, behind my attack, but Blaze is quick to counter. Ow! Oh, you want to fight with me, do you, Aster? That's pretty gutsy, but it's foolish, too. There's no way I'm going to let you best me. Take this. Ah! I cry in alarm and shift back, but I'm too late. A cascade of cool water catches me in the side of my face, so I sputter. An unpleasant, brackish taste fills my mouth and I choke. Erg, I think I must have swallowed some of that. We're in a fucking bath. What do you mean did he squirt at me? We're in a bath and that's a man. You can squirt in the bath. You cannot squirt. What are you saying? No. Stop nutting.
Put your dick above the water.
Oh my god, stop. Everyone stop. Blaze. Around on Blaze, my eyes narrowed. I'm pretty peeved at that surprise attack of his. Not, I guess, that I have much room to complain. I'm the one who instigated. It's childish of me to get so uppity, but erg. My hair's all wet now. What a jerk. Yes, Aster, what is it? You know what it is. You're impossible. And what are you going to do about it? This. I splash at Blaze again, in a peak of self-indignant fury, but he's too quick for me. He shifts to one side, avoiding my retaliative blow, and splashes me again. I'm caught by another cascade of cool water. My hair was damp before, it's well and truly soaked now. How dare he? Why, you... Splash. I splash Blaze again for his insolence, a gesture which he returns. The pair of us soon begin to spar, violently splashing at one another, until I start to splutter. I can't help myself. I'm acting just like a small child. Can't remember the last time I cut loose like this, but I'm rather enjoying it. I never knew that spending time with somebody else like this could be so entertaining. Ooh. Blaze grins at me, his mismatched eyes shining as he says, "Now that sounds good." What does? Your laughter. Huh? I frown. What about my laughter? I've never heard you laugh before. I didn't think you were capable of it. It seemed like quite a big ask coming from you when you hardly ever smile. I'm just gonna let you know, chat, this is a wholesome game, so don't expect anything unwholesome. I pout, now feeling rather sulky. My previous goodwill evaporated. Is that a bad thing? No, it isn't. I'm not going to force you to laugh. Not if you don't want to, but I'm glad that you did. The no say Gex! It made me feel like, I don't know, that I got to see a whole new side of you, maybe? I liked seeing you let go like that. And honestly speaking, I thought it was really cute. Cute? I'm not I hang my head, newly self-conscious. I don't think that I'm cute. But then again, why would I? I'm not particularly narcissistic, not like Angelique. I don't spend hours and hours in front of a mirror every day preening like she does. I think I'm unremarkable in almost every way, despite Blaze's insistences that I have a nice face. I thought he was just teasing, but now I wonder. Yeah, I love Gex. You're right, chat. I love Gex. From the N64, my favorite N64 game. With the gecko protagonist, how did you know? He wasn't being sincere after all, was he? He didn't sound like he was teasing me. If he was, would he have been smiling at me like that, so very guilelessly? I reflect, had all that much to laugh about lately, or in general, really, but when I'm with Blaze, I don't know. It's hard to put words to my feelings, but this company isn't that bad. Bad company reference? If it was, I never would have started laughing like that. Blaze and I finish up in the lake, washing our respective bodies free of dirt, then emerge from the cool waters. We dry ourselves, or to be more precise, I dry us with a handy wind spell, and we return to my home after dressing. Y'all gotta know that while that wind spell was going, he was looking at that helicopter going. It was going like this. He was blowing both of them off at the same time, and it was definitely flapping like this. Once there, I change into my pajamas. This time, I don't bother to shoo Blaze outdoors. I don't see the point. Not when he's already seen me naked, and slide my weary body beneath my sheets. I'm wearing pants. I'm actually wearing jeans right now. Jeans. And a hoodie. I feel pretty tired after the excitement of the day's events. I'd like to get some shut-eye. I don't have much of a desire to stay awake, chatting like some of my classmates during dormitory parties at Oleander Academy, but Blaze betrays me. He looks up at me from the floor, sitting cross-legged on his mattress, then says, "Hey, Aster." What is it? And try to make it snappy. I've got a lot of work to do tomorrow. The cure for Charmaine's curse won't find itself. Ooh, sounds like you're ready to go all out. Well, obviously, I need to make up for lost time. I've not started to brew any potions yet. You don't want me to rest on my laurels, do you? As the deadline creeps ever closer? I suppose not, no. So I'll try to keep this brief. I was wondering, could I kip with you in the bed tonight, if you don't mind, that is? Huh? I blink at Blaze, none too intelligently, then say, my face flushed. You want to sleep with me? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds kind of saucy, but that wasn't my intention, I swear. I don't have any impure motives. I frown. For some reason, that protestation makes you sound even guiltier. Protestation. Really? You think I mean to feel you up while you're fast asleep? I don't know what you intend to do. I wouldn't put it past you, though. Oh, Aster, I'm hurt. Is that any way to talk to a guy who risked his own life to save yours? I'd never be so uncouth. And besides, I like teasing you because your reactions are so gosh darn cute. It'd defeat the whole point if you were asleep while I started tormenting you. If I was gonna feel you up, which I haven't been planning on, by the way, I'd rather do it when you're wide awake. Based? That's when you're at your most entertaining. Actually, super based. You're not doing much to ease my doubts, you know. But why do you want to sleep with me? Isn't the mattress good enough all of a sudden? I conjured it for you out of the goodness of my heart. You could be a little bit appreciative. I know you did, and I am appreciative of your efforts, really. It was all very nice of you. But what's wrong with our sleeping arrangements? There's nothing wrong with it, but it is a little lonely being down on the floor. And it's kind of cold, too. It is true. The nights have been cold lately. I know, right? I've been getting shivers. It makes it hard to doze off, and I need my beauty sleep. Good looks like mine require serious upkeep, you know? Oh, please. Now you're starting to sound like Angelique. Some comrade cuddles. Comrade cuddles? Some homie huddling? Perish the thought. I'm not about to take against you if I can't get my own way. I'm used to that. I did grow up on the streets again, after all. I'm used to being told to get out of the way by people with much more wealth and influence than me. I won't take it personal if you don't want me to join you. I just figured it'd be nice, is all. Your bed's pretty comfy and, well, I was hoping you wouldn't be too embarrassed since we did just bathe together. Isn't that, like, way more intimate? I opened my mouth, meaning to retort, but any response I could have hoped to conjure up peters out. He does have a point there. Maddeningly enough, he has seen me naked, and this time I consented to it, knowing that Blaze is a human. After that, sharing a bed shouldn't be so very scandalous. My bed isn't very big, and there's not much space for the both of us, but twin-sized mattress. Oh, fine, have it your way. Will you let me join you? If it'll shut you up, sure. You say you won't hold it against me, but I don't want you to shooting puppy dog eyes up at me all night when I'm trying to sleep. And that wouldn't help either of us get any of this so-called beauty rest. I make quotation marks with my fingers. That you're so fond of. I shift back in the bed as I speak, then pat the mattress with one hand. My eyes are fixed on Blaze's. Well, are you going to join me? Of course, I'd be honored to. Although, I am a little surprised. About what? I didn't think this would be so easy, if I'm being honest. I was sure you'd shoot me down, but I guess you're sappier than you'd like to act. I harumph as Blaze slides into bed with me, beside me, the wooden bed frame creaking beneath his weight. No. Nah, I know that bed go crazy when they're going at it. Squeak, 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 squeak. Don't try my patience. I can still cast you out onto the floor. I know. You've done it before. You can be pretty ruthless like that. A chuckling Blaze pulls the covers over his broad shoulders, then shifts into his optimal sleeping position on the mattress. He yawns, and with a soft smile, he says, "Thanks for being so decent about all of this. You might act grumpy, but you really ain't as bad as all that. Of all the great wizards whose chimneys I could have fallen down, I'm glad it was yours. Well, thanks, I guess. It's no problem. I'm just saying it how it is. It's pretty easy to compliment you, actually. It is? Yeah, you've not got a bad face, even if you do have a bit of a temper, but despite all that, you really are kind. Considerate, too. You've been real good to me ever since we met. You're a great guy." Blaze's breathing begins to even out, and the fingers of his right hand, which are curled upon his pillow, tremble. "And I like you a whole bunch." Ah! This compliment pierces my heart even more keenly than any arrow might. I stare at Blaze, red-faced, wondering whether he'll elaborate on that remark, wondering whether I even want him to, but... Me. The moment for a sweet, sappy sincerity has passed. Stop that! Don't do that under the sheets while he's asleep! Blaze has already fallen asleep. Stop wanking it! Not under the sheets with him, chat! I watch him in slumber for a few moments, his nose a few scant centimeters from my own before I sigh. Stop! You disgust me! What are you doing? Chat! No! He trusted you! No! It really isn't fair, you know. You can't just say something like that to me, then refuse to clarify. Wait. Don't mind me, don't mind me. You're playing dirty. I mean, if you keep talking to me like that, I'm gonna end up falling for you. You idiot.
No.
Stop! It's a sweet moment. Criminally offensive side-eye. Oh no. The days begin to trickle by like sand in an hourglass. Days which I devote unerringly to research and experimentation in an attempt to lift Blaze's curse. I flip through any number of books, gather any number of ingredients, and mix together any number of potions. For all of the hours I pour into my research, however, I've made very little progress. Stop trying to wank it so much, chat. What is wrong with you, you sickos? It was a cute moment, sleeping together, and now you ruined it. You ruined it. I don't even want to know where you came. He's still going. For all the hours that I pour into my research, however, I've made very little progress, and even that might be putting it charitably. Someone wanked so hard they sharded themselves. No! The curse Charmaine cast on him is every bit as potent as it was.
2 hours later.
Shut the fuck up. It feels like my best efforts are all for nothing. I'm losing sleep over this, and I've lost what little of my appetite I still had, but it's to little avail. I can work as hard as I want, but it's a depressingly pointless endeavor if it doesn't yield any results. Charmaine's curse is complex, and it's evading me. I graduated from Oleander Academy with exemplary grades, but I've not seen anything quite like this before. Charmaine might be a novice witch, but her magical energy is unparalleled. Soon I have only one full day left, before Blaze is set to remain a cat forever, yet I've done precious little with it. I still haven't made any headway. How can that be? There's something humiliating about it all, having my skills called into question by a girl like Charmaine. She's still a child, but her abilities far outstrip mine. It's enough to make me doubt my capabilities as a wizard. I feel an awful lot like a hack, but no, I try to tell myself, I can't afford to get bogged down in pointless self-censure that isn't going to help Blaze. I don't want him being stuck as a cat for the rest of his days. He doesn't deserve it. Get out of bed and stop wanking it, chat! I said I was going to help him, and that's precisely what I mean to do. I'm going to do my best. I have to do my best. But what if my best isn't good enough? This thought swirls through my head during the day, a nagging, uneasy doubt which grows as the minutes slip by. It's out of desperation more than anything else that I wind up giving Blaze a potion I knew, immediately after brewing it, might come with some adverse effects. The finished potion is a strange swamp green color, which undulates uneasily inside my cauldron. Shrek reference. Bubbles rise to the surface of the potion, then burst, carrying with them an unpleasant stench like rotten eggs. The smell alone tells me I'd be better off casting it all out, let alone the consistency. But I'm so desperate I feel compelled to feed Blaze at least a little of it. Stop, you sicko! Maybe in some convenient twist of fate, it'll prove to have some restorative properties I'd hitherto known nothing about. It's a nice thought, at least. Much nicer than the potion itself, but... Feeding Blaze that potion soon proves to be a mistake. Blaze has barely had more than a couple of sips of it before he starts coughing. Horrible, hacking coughs, which makes his small, furry body shudder. Shit, I'm so sorry, Blaze. I scoop my feline companion up into my arms, then hurry him outdoors for some much-needed fresh air. There, once he subjects to the cool breeze, he heaves, and then, convulsing all the while, he vomits. Shh, it'll be alright, I promise it will. There. I try to soothe Blaze as best I can, while he continues to gag. Stop. I rub my fingers behind his ears, which I know he likes, then between his ribs at the base of his tail. I continue to pet him over and over again until his breathing evens out and his shudders stop. He seems to be doing a little better, but his eyes are glassy with tears and his following mules are of a helpless, heartbreaking variety. Mrr. Yeah, I know, being sick sucks. I shouldn't have fed you that potion. I knew that it'd cause some complications. I'm sorry, Blaze, for being so impulsive. I was just so worried My voice trails off. I frown. No! Gag on what? D's nut! What's the point in trying to fabricate excuses when Blaze is in such a bad way? I don't have the right, not when this is all my fault. Well, never mind that. My feelings don't really matter. You're the one who's suffering here. I just hope you can forgive me. Mrr. Blaze mews in response and nudges my chest with his head. I think that gesture means he's forgiven me, if he was ever holding a grudge to begin with, but I'm not sure if I deserve it. Why should I when I've done nothing save let him down? I said I was going to help him, but I've tried all sorts of things, but everything I do seems to make you even sicker. Some great wizard I am. I continue to rub Blaze's head absently, my lips pursed all the while into a frown. I'm such an idiot. Stole my man, now he must suffer. Later that night. Damn it all to hell. What in the world am I going to do now? I sit slumped at my desk in my bedroom, my fingers fisting in my hair. I feel so despondent I have half a mind to tear handfuls of it out, but as I know this would not logically improve my situation, I abstain. The only way tearing my hair out might possibly prove to be useful is if my hair could be used as a catalyst for a potion powerful enough to lift Charmaine's curse. I've read a lot of books on the subject of animal transformations, and none of them seem to suggest that chunks of hair, pulled in a rage from the scalp of a malcontented wizard, will be a useful ingredient in any potential remedy. I can't think of any other ingredient which might serve as a decent catalyst, however, which is where the problem lies. I've been at this all day, morning to dusk, and I've not made any headway. I feel just as lost now as I did when I woke up. All the potions I whipped up this last week are worthless. In the best case scenarios, they had no effect whatsoever, and in the worst, they made him sick. I'm starting to worry I might have caused Blaze more harm in my attempts to heal him than I did good. I can recall with startling clarity how he retched when I fed him that green noxious potion. I knew even before the potion touched his lips that it would cause problems, but I was desperate enough to try anything. I wanted to believe that I might have stumbled upon something, a miracle panacea? But of course I didn't. I made Blaze sick, and though he seems to have recovered, he's still a cat. This is impossible. I grab hold of my hair a little more firmly, lost in the throes of despair, and... Ow! That hurt, damn it. I know I said I wasn't going to start ripping my own hair out, but it looks like that's what's going to go down regardless. How am I such a fool? Don't stress pull your hair out? Gonna be that chick from The Boys with the wig. I always used to think of myself as a savant. I've made some pretty experimental potions in the past, things nobody else has ever done before. But I can now see that these were nothing more than vanity projects. I only made those potions to amuse myself. They serve no purpose beyond satisfying my own overinflated ego. I talked myself up, believing myself to be infallible, but I've met my match in Charmaine. It's pathetic, really. All this time I thought I was something special. Now I can see how mistaken I was. When they're in bed. Stop waking it! I only believed that because I was so isolated. If I'd actually spent more time interacting with my peers, I'd have known I was never anything all that amazing. It's a bit too late for regrets now, however. And it's much, much too late to help Blaze. He should turn into a human once the clock strikes midnight. Clock reference. Once more, but come tomorrow he'll go right back to being a cat. Then if what Charmaine has said is true, he'll be stuck as a cat for the rest of his days. These next few hours are my only remaining window of opportunity. If I'm going to help him, I'll have to do it now. But I've been pushing myself so very hard for so very long. I don't have the strength needed to keep going. I always hate running into barriers when working on my own potions. It discourages me, probably because my ego is paper thin. Whenever I make mistakes with my own pet projects, I give myself a bit of breathing room, take a couple of days off. Once I've put some time between myself and my project, I'm better able to return to it with a clear head and a fresh frame of thought. Oh yeah, he's spiraling right now. He needs a certain somebody to, keep him stable. Get him back on his feet, you know what I'm saying? I don't have the luxury of time right now, though. It's do or die, but I've already tried to do without any success. Now there isn't much doing left in me. It's okay, Aster. You don't have to do the deed anymore. Blaze is gonna do you. I just want to call it quits. I don't think I can handle much more disappointment. I feel awful as it is, without being made to confront my own inadequacies yet again. This is a miserable experience, really. But if I feel miserable, what about Blaze? He's the one who'll be stuck in a really bad spot if I can't succeed. I told him that I'd help him, and when I said it was full of confidence. I really believed at the time that I could make a difference. I knew helping him would be a challenge, but I thought it'd be a challenge I could overcome. I don't mind working hard if I could get rewarded for it in the end, but this has been nothing more than a slog. It isn't fun. If I was working on a potion of my own devising, I probably would have given in already. But can I really do that knowing about Blaze's situation? I need to keep going. Sitting around feeling sorry for myself won't get me anywhere. You left since the bath scene? We've been trying to make a potion to cure Blaze, and we failed a bunch. And now we're freaking out. I'm wasting time, and I don't have much of it to waste. Get up, I tell myself sternly. Get up, you useless waste of space, and prove you're worthy of being called one of Oxel's best wizards. Some wizard you must look like right now, losing heart so easily. You're an eyesore. What have you even been doing these last 5 years? Don't let all your efforts go to waste. Otherwise, how will you ever be able to look at yourself in the mirror again? Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up! I tell myself this over and over again, but I can't bring myself to act on this advice. What's the point? A dark, brooding part of my brain pipes up. When you'll only fail again. It's all well and good trying to help, but if you can't procure any results, you're just wasting everybody's time. I squeeze my eyes shut, yet more unpleasant, jeering voices dance through my mind. Maybe you ought to give up. The voice has a point, but you're not helping anybody, least of all yourself. Why do you even bother? At this point, I'm really starting to wonder. I thought I could do anything. I thought wrong. Maybe I've always been wrong. I should just... Help is at hand. It's alright, Aster. Don't you worry. I don't know why I did that. Shush. Aster, it's alright. Please don't be so hard on yourself. You don't deserve it. I can't stand seeing you like this. I must have been lost to my own self-pitying thoughts for quite some time, because Blaze has regained his human form. It's past midnight already. The moon is full in the sky which is scattered with stars. A new day is upon me, and I've still not come any closer to finding a means to alleviating Blaze's curse. I've not done a single solitary thing. Blaze. I wince. I could feel his arms winding about me, could feel his chin pressed against the top of my head. He's holding me so gently, I might as well be a porcelain doll. Is he afraid of shattering me? His thoughtfulness is appreciated, but right now it's doing little save further stoking the flames of my self-loathing. Why do you want to punch them? What's wrong with you? They're cute! I look down at the pitted, uneven surface of my wooden desk and mumble. I don't know how you can say that to me. Say what? You know what. I inhale. It's a simple gesture, but it takes rather more effort than it should. My eyes are starting to sing. I hope I'm not going to cry. That would be awfully embarrassing. I don't see how you can stand being with me when I've not done anything to help you. Why are you trying to console me anyway? I don't deserve it. I'm a failure. Hey now, easy there, Aster. They have what we don't, a cat boyfriend. I don't think you're a failure. Even if you do, it's certainly not true that you've done nothing to help me. Do you really think so? Of course. I've been watching you, you know, these last few days. I might have been a cat for most of them, so I couldn't exactly comment on what you were doing, but you've been working yourself like a demon. You've had your nose to the grindstone these last 4 days. You've barely eaten, and you've hardly slept. You've been pushing yourself to your limits, and you've been doing it for my sake. After all of that, I don't see how you can say you've done nothing. If the sheer amount of work you've been putting in counts as nothing, then I dread to think how you judged me based on my life's accomplishments or lack thereof. I've never put this much effort into anything myself. Not for my own sake, and not for anybody else's. Not since my mother died, at least. But Blaze, my voice catches in my throat, and I wince. My eyes really are damp now, so much so I can't pretend otherwise. It isn't possible. When I blink, round pearl-like tears are disturbed from their precarious perch upon my lashes. They roll down my cheeks like rain on a window pane, and I shudder. Blaze's kindness is very sweet, but I don't understand where it's coming from. How can he afford to be so calm about this, when his entire future is at stake? Doesn't he care about forfeiting his own humanity? Potentially forever? If I was in his position, I would hate me for giving him false hope. Heck, I'm not in his position, and I already hate me. I'm glad that you think so, I guess, but I don't get it. Shouldn't you be panicking? Do you want me to panic? Well, no, but... Then I don't see what's to be gained from it. It won't help us, will it? Blaze grins, then bumps his chin against the top of my head. I thought you were all for that kind of thing, Aster. Being sensible, I mean. I didn't think you were the sort to let your own emotions get the better of you. I didn't think I was either. I guess you just bring it out of me. I seem to do that to people, yeah. I know I must have really pissed off Charmaine. That's how I got into this mess. I was stupid enough to steal from her, and I was stupid enough to get caught. It's all on me. None of this is your fault. You got dragged into it, but you didn't make any of this happen. I committed the crime, I've got to do the time. Or maybe I should say, face the consequences, since it's not like I'm gonna get thrown into jail over this. Not now that I'm gonna be a cat for all my days. I guess that's an improvement over being in the slammer, though, isn't it? I don't know, is it? Oh, being a cat's not all that bad. Took a bit of getting used to, having 4 legs and all, but I've had a whole bunch of experience. I'm more or less a natural now. I'm pretty good at hunting down birds and mice, and I get to keep my freedom if nothing else. There are worse fates I could have had, really. Blaze sounds light enough. He's even laughing about his plight, like it's no big deal, but I don't buy it. I think he's trying to cheer me up, which, if he is, it's very admirable of him, but it isn't working. I can see through him. I grip my teeth together, tears still beating in the corner of my eyes, and say, "Don't, please. Don't what? Don't act like you don't care. Not when I know you do. It's too painful." I push Blaze away using strength I didn't know I had, then scowl at him. It's really cute. I'd like it if my scowl looked intimidating, or at the very least impressive, but it seems unlikely. My shoulders are still shaking and my eyes are damp with tears. Despite that, however, I'm still able to choke out a damp, indignant, "Stop trying to console me. I don't deserve it. I might have been trying to help you, but trying's no good. Not when it doesn't yield results. Everything I've been doing up until this point has been pointless. You can tell me you'll be fine as a cat until you're blue in the face, but it won't make me feel better about all of this. How can it, when I've let you down so badly? If I wasn't so incompetent, none of this would be happening. But I am, and it is, and... by the stars." My voice trails off and hiccuping, I bury my face in my... Hiccoughing, I bury my face in my hands. Any pretense at intimidation long since spent. Why does it hurt so much? You should hate me. I don't understand why you don't. Why aren't you angrier with me? It's what I deserve. Aster. Blaze blinks. He looks me up and down. I can feel his gaze on me despite my splayed fingers, which are pressed over my eyes, then says, "It'd be a lie, I guess, if I said I wasn't a little worried about all of this." Huh. Only a little worried, he says. That's an understatement if I've ever heard one. But I'm really not mad at you, even if you might be mad at yourself, and I definitely don't hate you. I could never do that. But why not? Well, why should I hate you? Blaze approaches me. He reaches out his arms, then... Ah! He pulls me to him, pressing me into a warm embrace. I just noticed their necklaces are on the, his necklace is up there. Huh? I'm not going to hate you for trying, even if you didn't succeed. I know you're pretty hard on yourself, but I'm not going to validate your own self-hatred. There are worse things that Charmaine could have done to me than cursing me to become a cat. Stop wanking it! I got off pretty lucky, actually, when I think about all of the other things she could have done to me. And I think everything will be alright, really, so long as I can stay with you. You want to stay with me? Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? There's nowhere else I'd rather be, so long as you'll have me, I mean. I don't want to be presumptuous. I know I can be pretty annoying. I'm sure I've annoyed the crap out of you already, but being with you this last week? I don't know. It's been weird, sure, but I haven't hated it. It's kind of nice, actually, having somewhere I could call home and somebody I could call a friend, too. If I'm not making too many assumptions. Oh no. I don't think it's too hasty. I inhale. Then in a shaky voice I say, I've liked being with you too. You have? Yeah. I was alone for a while, so having you around, it's been kind of nice, I guess. It's made my house feel a little less lonely, at least. Not that I was lonely, you understand. Being on my own has never really bothered me. It's spending time with people that I can't stand. They're so loud. Obnoxious, too. I don't get along with them. I never did. At least back at school. I was always the odd one out. Maybe because I was from a poor family? My other classmates were all like Angelique. I think they looked down on me. They didn't like that I did so well, I guess, despite coming from a pretty humble background. They never let me forget that I was inferior to them either. It was all pretty stressful. Aw, man. Doesn't sound like you had much fun at that fancy school of yours. Not particularly. It's not like I had to endure any great soul-shattering traumas either. I mean, both of my parents are still alive. My family aren't rich, but I've never had to turn to petty thievery so I could afford to eat. I had a roof over my head and clothes to wear. I was lucky, comparatively speaking. I don't think I have any right to complain. Well, Blaze smiles wryly. It's true enough that my own childhood was pretty shitty. I don't think I really had the opportunity to be a kid, since I had to look after my mother. Not that I resented her for it, you understand. She couldn't exactly help being sick. She didn't do it to spite me. She wanted the best for me, I know that. It broke her heart that she couldn't provide for me. She'd always beat herself up over it. A little like you were doing, I guess. I didn't like it when my mother started getting all guilty, and I don't like it when you do it either. You're a good person, Aster. My classmates all said I was snobby and self-important. Well, maybe you are. Just a bit. Gee, thanks. It's appreciated. But I don't mind that. It makes sense after everything you've been through. And besides, that only makes it more worthwhile when you finally smile. Or laugh. You did say you liked my laughter. Yeah. I still do. Not that I've had much of a chance to hear it. It was pretty cute, though. I'd love to hear you laugh like that again. But I guess the mood's not exactly right for it. Not really. I figured, yeah, it's a pity, but... Blaze smiles, then caresses my cheek with his palm, his fingers splayed across my skin. I think I've been a little lost ever since my mother died. I spent so much time trying to look out for her. I didn't know what to do with myself when she was gone. I had no direction in life and no purpose either. I was horribly alone myself, and I felt so lost. It's different with you, though. You've gone out of your way to help me this last week, though we were strangers, and I guess it resonated. I've always been the one looking out for others, you see. I guess I'm not used to being fussed over myself, but it really did make me happy. Being with you makes me happy. I like you a lot, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. Even if you stay stuck as a cat for the rest of your days? Sure. I might not be able to hug like you, like I can now, but I can at least rub my head against your legs and you can still stroke me. Hey, I don't like that terminology. I think I'd like that. I knew Daniel would catch on to that. No, don't say stroke, dude. That's kind of weird. Oh, how shameless. I didn't realize you were into pet play. Never mind, Aster wants it too. I say this in a cool, offhand sort of way, which makes Blaze laugh. His laughter is deep and rich. It sounds deeper still, given our close proximity, and it makes me smile. My eyes are still damp, and my throat is all sore from sobbing. I still feel all cut up about this, but I'd like to stay with you too. I'd like to stay with you too. Though I think I'd prefer it if you were a human. Really now. Blaze snickers. I thought you preferred me as a cat. Doesn't it make it harder for me to answer back? It does, yeah. But I like talking to you despite yourself. If you could remain a human, then, well, maybe it would be nice if I could take you on as my apprentice, if you'd like. You could still live here. We could live together and we could try and be happy together, maybe? I think I'd like that. Now isn't that a nice idea? Blaze grins, then bumps his forehead against my own. I'd like that too. Thank you for looking out for me, Aster. It's no problem. This is all hypothetical anyways, I mean... I glance away, my face a little flushed from all this continued close contact. I'm not used to being hugged by anybody other than my mother. Being pressed against Blaze's chest isn't an unpleasant feeling, however. His arms are nice and thick, and his broad chest is soothing. Makes me feel like I matter. I really do like him. I like him a lot, but I couldn't help you break your curse. You're just gonna wind up turning into a cat again. True, that's a bit of a bummer. It'll be hard for me to be your apprentice if I don't have any opposable thumbs. But Aster, I just had a thought. Yes? I'll look at Blaze impassively, my brow furrowed. This isn't going to be something stupid again, is it? I know what's going to be. It might be, but I figured it'd be worth a try regardless, just to see, you know? I am kinda curious, so... Blaze grins, then says, do you want to try doing that thing again? What thing? I mean the kiss, of course, silly. Blaze chuckles, then gives my middle a squeeze. It didn't work before, but we'd only just met back then. We were still strangers, and I get the feeling you didn't like me all that much. That kiss only happened under duress. There's no way it could have been true love's kiss. We're a bit closer now, though, so maybe things will work out in our favor. I don't have much faith in it, but it might be worth a try. Do you want to give it a go? I mean, if it fails... Blaze leads in, his fingers still cupping my cheek. This might be my last chance I get to do anything like this with you. Since I'm still a human, I figured I might as well, if you wouldn't mind. I don't know. I look up at Blaze timorously. My cheeks are still damp from my previous crying session. How embarrassing. And my eyes sting. I don't feel particularly kissable at the moment in time. But then again, I never do. I never have. I never imagined that anybody would ever want me like this. Not since this moment. Maybe that's why I tried to push all thoughts of romance from my mind. I thought it was a waste of time. Nothing more than a mere distraction from my job. I doubted I'd ever meet anybody who really cared for me. But maybe I was wrong. Blaze sure seems to. I don't know if he's asking purely out of desperation in an attempt to break this curse, but... What the heck? Kiss a homie. I've tried everything else to no avail. What do I have to lose at this point? I don't think it'll work, but... I guess there's no harm in trying it. Then, you want to? I... don't mind. I mean, it's not like I've been thinking about this ever since he started hugging me or anything. That would just be embarrassing. You're gonna make me laugh. Stop. Let's try it. Right. Blaze pauses. He might have been the one to suggest this, but he looks unusually embarrassed. Is his face turning red? I have half a mind to pull away, to tell him not to waste his time if he isn't actually being serious, but... I still don't have much experience with this kind of thing, so I'm sorry in advance if I'm too rough, but... He's going in with tongue this time! Here goes nothing. If my heart wasn't hammering so hard, I'd tell Blaze that I don't actually find this the most romantic way of instigating a kiss. But I'm not given the chance to say anything. Blaze is already dipping his head. He exhales, his breath warm against my cheek. True love's kiss again, this time with feeling. And then his mouth meets mine. I don't know very much about kissing. This is only the second time I've attempted it, but this feels different to the first kiss I exchanged with Blaze. It feels more... I'm not sure. More meaningful somehow. My heart was already fluttering before he pressed our lips together, but now that they are, it really does feel like it might burst. Don't you dare, chat! Don't you fucking dare. I will ban you. My face, meanwhile, is burning. I can't see how I look. Alright, little turnips, banned. Alright, turnips is banned. Alright, you're out of here. I fucking hate you. I can't see how I look, but I bet my cheeks are as red as a pair of peonies. My eyes remain open for a few moments, frozen in shock as Blaze's lips overlap mine. But this really does last for a few moments. Eventually, I find myself relaxing into the kiss. My eyelids fall shut as I let Blaze take the lead. He cups my cheek gently, possessively, and tips my head upwards. Can't you just react like Daniel does? Can't you all just be happy with jorking it under your sheets? Patrick gasming, chat. I let Blaze manipulate my body however he wants. At this point, my legs feel so weak I'd collapse if he wasn't here to support me, and part my mouth willingly against his. I feel something damp against my lower lip, then against my teeth. Is that his tongue? He isn't, is he? But he is. The first kiss we shared was a perfunctory affair, which lasted only a few moments, but this one is much deeper. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced before, but I don't dislike it. The tip of Blaze's tongue nudges mine, and I gasp, my body tensing against his own. I feel so horribly embarrassed both at our proximity and at all the noises I'm making. I could die. But despite that, I still don't want this to end. For a kiss that's supposed to be a final resort, this feels surprisingly good. I have a cat. I have a cat now. Come here. How does one get banned? I don't want to be banned. Read TOS. We continue to kiss for a few moments more. Blaze's fingers still splayed against my cheek until Blaze finally draws away. He exhales, still caressing my cheek, and looks at me with eyes which seem to smolder. His chest, which is pushed up against my own, is rising and falling, and his own face is a little flushed from our... exertions. A gossamer strand of saliva connects Blaze's lips, which are pursed to my own, though it soon snaps. That almost feels like a bit of a pity. It was kind of nice, seeing a physical manifestation of mine and Blaze's closeness. But I guess his arms are wrapped around my waist. You did not just romanticize the spit between your lips, bro. You did not just do that. Nah. Nah. But I guess his arms are wrapped around my waist. We're plenty close already. Am I being greedy? Jeez, this is so strange. I don't think I've ever been particularly demanding when it comes to attention from others. It's always been the exact opposite. It's different, however, when it comes to Blaze. I don't quite understand why I feel the way I feel, but... oh, wow. Blaze smiles at me, his face still flushed, his chest still heaving. It's good to know, I guess, that I'm not the only one who's all mixed up about this. I was starting to get worried. That was very... wow. Yes, you said that already. Is that supposed to be a good thing? It's a great thing. You're amazing, Aster. Amazing? My face, which was already red, turns even redder. I think you've given me a bit too much credit. And I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. That was great. Well, I'm very glad you seem to think so. I'm not too sure about that, though. Huh? Blaze pouts. Are you really gonna stand there, Aster, and say you didn't get a kick out of that when your face is all red? Don't tell me that was all an act and you weren't actually into it. No, that isn't it. I enjoyed it. Really, I did. But I wasn't so sure about you. Oh, I see. Do you think I'm exaggerating, or worse, lying to spare your feelings? I don't know. Maybe. I'm sure you've had better. You can be as sure as you want, but you'd still be mistaken. Really? Yes, really. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but maybe it didn't come up. But I'm not the rogue you seem to think I am. My cat's got the zoomies right now. He's freaking out, man. That first time we kissed a few days ago, well, that was my first kiss, as a matter of fact. I gasped, taken entirely off guard. I'd assumed wrongly, I guess, that Blaze has had a lot more experience in regards to relationships than me. He certainly conducts himself like he does, in a very smooth, self-confident manner. He doesn't seem to have any issues speaking with other people. He was so chatty during our first meeting. I assumed he had people falling for him all the time. But maybe not. I shouldn't have been so quick to jump to conclusions. And to think, I scolded Blaze for his hastiness. I might be just as bad as he is. Then, I was your first? You were, yeah. And you were my second, too. And I might just be your last if this doesn't work and you get stuck as a cat. Maybe so, but I'd say hearing you moan made it all worthwhile. I wasn't moaning! I scowl, stung by this. Accusation? Is that what this is? I'm not sure, but Blaze's amused laughter doesn't make me feel any better. He's having way too much fun at my expense. It's not like I was moaning that much, and even if I was, you should expect it. It's not like I've kissed anybody else before either. You say that like it's supposed to be some huge revelation. But I did have an inkling, yeah. Oh, really? What gave it away? Was I really that awful at kissing? If you were, I wouldn't know. I don't have any experience myself. Ah, yes, of course. It really is a case of the blind leading the blind, hmm? Absolutely. It's amateur hour up in here for real. It's so real. Side comment? It is really awkward being the one that's expected to know how to kiss for your first kiss in a couple of two people who don't know how to kiss. It's pretty hard to do. I'm not gonna lie. It really is amateur hour. But no, I didn't assume I was your first because you're a catastrophically terrible kisser. I just thought, it makes sense, doesn't it? I don't know, does it? Yeah, I mean, you always say you don't like people very much. I doubt you'd give them the opportunity to get so close to you. I guess I ought to consider myself lucky that you let me kiss you at all, Mr. Great and Powerful Wizard. Erg. In high school, I did play the trumpet. I played the trumpet and the drums. Don't start with that. You should know how I feel about the wizard title right now. I know. Seems like your feelings are a bit all over the place. But no matter how you feel, I still care about you. I'm flattered that you let me kiss you, both last time and tonight. I'm just sorry, I suppose, that your first kiss had to be with a scoundrel like me. You are a bit of a scoundrel, it's true. Look, chat, as long as you're not trying to insert your tongue on their face / down their throat, you'll probably do okay, okay? And a thief besides. But it's alright. You don't have to apologize for kissing me. No. If I hadn't wanted you to do it, I wouldn't have let you. I didn't really mind. It was a bit awkward that first time, sure, but just now, what we did, it felt pretty good, I guess. Not that I have anything to compare it to. Don't forget to use your teeth! I mean, I like a little bit of lip biting. Huh. Well, I'm very glad to hear it. I enjoyed it a lot myself. In fact, I might have enjoyed it a bit too much. Too much? Yeah, it was hard pulling myself away from you, actually. But you've been pushing yourself for far too long. You look positively dead on your feet. I don't want to push you even harder. So how's about we get some shut-eye? You look like you could use it. Okay, Dio, please! Bro, you cannot just talk about how you were sexually harassed at 4 years old in my chat, bro. That's what are you doing, man? That's not appropriate. Please, 18 and up conversations only. What the fuck? Oh, I just saw Cat Lily say on the neck. Wait. Okay, damn, my daughter's a little kinky, but yeah, on the neck. It's really hot. I don't want to push you even harder. So how's about we get some shut-eye? You look like you could use it. Oh no, I'm fine, really. If Blaze wanted to kiss me some more, I wouldn't necessarily object to it. Part of me might be hoping, actually, he'll want to go in for another dosage of medicinal kissing, just in case the first go didn't work, but alas. You don't know how awkward it was? When I had to go to work with marks on my neck. Ah, man, that was a fun time. Oh my god. You don't know how many weird looks I got. If Blaze wanted to kiss me some more, I wouldn't necessarily object to it. Part of me might be hoping, actually, he'll want to go in for another dosage of medicinal kissing, just in case the first go didn't work, but alas. Sorry, but I'm not letting you try that with me. I know you too well, Aster. I can see right through you, and your excuses aren't particularly convincing. Be honest now. If it wasn't for me, you would have toppled over a long time ago, wouldn't you? Makeup for hickeys is for girls, chat. For men, we look like dumbasses. So, he knows that much? Darn, and I thought I was so smooth, too. I guess he's got me. I really am exhausted. Have I been pushing myself too much? Middle school, brother, I was like 20 years old, walking into work looking like a high schooler, okay? Since I've not had any results to speak of, I feel like I haven't been pushing myself enough. But I think Blaze might be onto something. I yawn, tears beating in my eyes. Tears which, for once, have nothing to do with my own feelings of inadequacy. We own up to it and wear it with embarrassment. I did not own up to it. I was embarrassed and I said, oh, yeah, that's just a mosquito bite. Yeah.
Excuse me? Are you telling a story?
No. Ginger's awake. I brush these stray tears away from my eyes, which must be red and swollen by now, and say, maybe you're right. I am a little sleepy. Big ass mosquito. Yeah, why was there multiple mosquito marks on my neck, guys? I think I was pulling up my collar like a bunch that day. I was like, fuck, dude. I know I'm right. You're struggling to keep your eyes open there. How did you think that would work? It never works. You just didn't realize it was there till the boss pointed out. I knew because I knew right away. Now let's get you to bed right now. I reckon that's the best place for you. Right, lead the way then. But of course, after you, my liege. Just wear a turtleneck, brother. What do you think I am, Steve Jobs in this bitch? What kind of straight man wears a turtleneck? What, am I The Rock? Or am I Steve Jobs? Which one do you think I am?
They're gonna say gay.
I'm not gay. I'm not wearing no turtleneck. Hot straight men, no. No. Real man? If you got anything going above the neck as a man, you better be wearing a collared shirt. You better be wearing a dress shirt. It better be a goddamn collar. Erg, don't say that, please. It's another yawn. He's gay. Gay and short. I'm not short, and I'm not gay. Really creepy. Sorry. You forget, I did used to work for a wealthy family. I've got the mannerisms all down. I'm actually pretty good at bowing and scraping and being sycophantic. You haven't even seen me in a full-blown manservant mode just yet. Male wife? I bet I could make your heart flutter. Doki doki. Yeah, whatever. I roll my eyes tiredly as Blaze extinguishes the candlelight in my room, then escorts me to my... No, maybe I should say our bed. He helps me down, then joins me beneath the sheets. Blaze's concern is so effusive, I'd probably find it annoying if I was any less tired. Manservant, stop! Stop! He's not a man whore. He's a manservant. He's a male wife. Please. But I'm so exhausted, I actually appreciate it. Here we go. Are you alright like this, Aster? You don't mind if I kip with you, do you? What? No, another yawn. It's fine. Why would I mind? We did it yesterday already. Honka honka. I know we did, but you can be kind of flighty about this kind of thing. I figured I'd ask, just in case. I wouldn't want to get too comfortable. I snort. I can't believe you're getting worried about this now after you literally just kissed me. Honka honka time. I'm hardly gonna refuse. I didn't think you would, but you can be so prickly sometimes. You were the one who said you were born from a cactus, weren't you? Maybe I was, once upon a time. I shift a little closer to Blaze, then rest my head against his cheek. Under any other circumstances, I'd try to put as much distance between him and myself as possible, but things have never been less normal in my life, and that's without factoring my curious relationship with my confounding new cat. I never did imagine that kissing Blaze could ever feel so good. He keeps saying cheek, he means ass cheek, by the way. His hand's been cupping his ass cheek the entire time. Maybe it's the fatigue talking. I doubt I'd let myself be so emotionally honest if I didn't feel so exhausted, but lying with him like this is pretty relaxing. I like being with him. Blaze? Yeah. I just want you to know before we go to sleep that no matter what happens, I pause. Inhale. Then shyly I mutter, I'll still like you. No? Blaze smiles. So you do like me, huh? A little, I guess. I wouldn't have let you kiss me otherwise. I'm not easy, you know. No, you didn't say it! I know. I think you're actually incredibly difficult. I heard, yeah. I know I can be a bit pissy, but... I yawn, then mutter. I wish I could have helped you more. And I keep saying that for some reason you refuse to listen to me. Then it's alright. I don't mind if you couldn't do more. You did your best, and I think that's good enough. Are you sure? I'm positive. Now stop beating yourself up. Other people will do that enough for you, and I like you the best when you're smiling. Oh no, you wind up hating me soon enough then. I hardly ever smile. I know you don't. It feels like a pity. You're a real cutie. But even if you don't feel up to smiling, I still like you regardless. Are you sure? Positive. I'm not as flighty as you might think. I did spend a lot of my life helping out my mother after all. Stop, you sicko, stop with your mpreg. You're underestimating how loyal I am. I thought it was dogs that were supposed to be loyal. Cat or dog, it makes no difference. Hell, I'd want to stay with you even if Charmaine had turned me into a newt or a bat. Or maybe a toad. You should count yourself lucky she didn't. All of those animals are used as parts in potions. Dogs too? Jeez, you're not saying you'd hurl me into a cauldron and boil me, are you? I might have, if a bat had fallen down my chimney. I'd consider it fair play, actually, since you got my workplace so sooty. I can't bring myself to cook cats, even if they're good for some potions too. What? The cats too? I'm glad. Sounds like I was able to avoid a bad ending. At least Charmaine was thoughtful enough to turn me into something cute. It doesn't really matter though. Whether I'm a cat or a human, I'll still want to stay with you, so try not to worry too much. Blaze leans in, the sheets shifting about us, and gently he presses a kiss against my forehead. I know it's part of your nature, but I don't think I'm worth all this hassle. I never wanted to make you worry. Silly. I pout. You're definitely worth the worry. You're worth a lot, actually. At least, you are to me. Even if I'm annoying. Everybody annoys me. You're less annoying than most people, though. And you know what? What? I don't think I mind being annoyed by you. Oh, is that meant to be a confession, Aster? Take it however you want. I'm too tired to pick apart the finer intricacies of what I just said. You can't be that tired. I was gonna say, if you can manage a complicated word like intricacies. But you are yawning something fierce. Are you alright? I let another man kiss me, and now we're sharing the same bed. So what do you think? It's like an average Friday night with the homies. Sounds like you're pretty alright to me. I already made the Shane Dawson joke. I've definitely had worse nights, I suppose. I nuzzle my head against Blaze's chest, my eyelids falling shut. My breathing begins to even out, slowly but surely. Me. And at long last, I fall asleep. What's it gonna be, chat? What's it gonna be? The next morning. Oh. Hey, Aster, wake up. It looks like it worked, chat. It worked. That's so cute, dude. Well, I'm awoken the following morning, not by Blaze licking my cheek, but by a soft, gentle voice. What's going on? It's been a while since I was last woken up by anybody human, I mean. My mother used to haul me out of bed in the mornings, but that was many years ago, back when I was still a small child. Imagine if it was talking cat. Imagine if it was a halfway point. He could just talk, but he was still a cat. Oh no, dude. By the time I became a teenager, she soon realized there was little point trying to chivvy me out of bed at a reasonable hour. I always wound up wrapping my blankets around myself and ignoring her. Nobody woke me during my time in Oleander Academy either, which might have been disastrous had I slept through the nights, like most of my pupils, but this wasn't so very bad. I so rarely slept at night, I'd often stay awake for 36 hours at a time. I'd head off to class, fresh from a productive night spent in the library or in the potions classroom, researching and working. Despite my— Stop! Just give me the fluff already! Why are you— I'm fine with lore, but this is not the time! Despite my awful track record at getting up in the mornings, I didn't miss all that many classes. I might have fallen asleep during some of my lessons, sure, particularly the more hokey ones, like astrology, but I always turned up. Did they just have a passing turn at astrology based? Little passing fuck you to astrology. Sorry to all the astrology people in the chat. I'm sorry, okay? That was too funny not to say, though. It's been a long time since I was woken up like this, but... Aster. Hey, Aster. Wakey, rise and shine. I don't know if I like it very much. Whoever's calling out to me is being awfully persistent about it. Oh, no ears! I didn't love being licked into wakefulness by Blaze, but that felt less intrusive than... Come on, Sleeping Beauty. I've got something really neat to show you. What if he's just standing there, whipped out? He's just got... He's just like, I got something neat to show you. Yeah, you gotta kiss us awake. Don't you want to join the land of the living? Then whatever this is. Stop! He says clock is out! Alright. My eyelids snap open, and feeling more than a little aggrieved, I shout, I'm up already. I'm wide awake, so you don't need to keep bothering me is what I was meant to say. My rebuke dies on the tip of my tongue. I'm staring into a pair of eyes that looks very familiar, so much so it sends shivers down my spine. A new day has dawned, but still, Blaze is in his human form. His long dark hair is tangled about his cheeks, and upon his face he's wearing an amused smile. He doesn't have pointed ears, and he doesn't have a tail. He's a human man through and through, and he's lying incredibly close to me beneath the sheets. His broad, firm chest is all pressed up against mine, and when he laughs, I can feel it rumbling. I'm sad he lost the cat ears, I'm not gonna lie. I stare at Blaze, my eyes widening, then say very softly, Did the curse finally wear off? It sure looks like it, yeah. Unless Charmaine's toying with me again, and I'm all set to turn into a kitty at some predetermined point in the future. I'm no longer interested, bye! Yes, this is the last chapter. Do you think that's likely? I don't know. You're the expert when it comes to magic, aren't you? I really couldn't tell. Maybe, but you're the expert when it comes to Charmaine. You should know what she's like. Bye, Daniel. I hope you have good poop. I know enough. I know she never even liked me. If you don't know, by the way, chat, Daniel always, at the end of every stream, when I turn off the stream in the chat, he says, finally, I can go shit now. Every stream. Even if he hasn't said a word the entire stream, he types that in after I've ended the stream in the chat. That's what he does. So that's how I know. I don't know why I know, but I know. I know enough. I know she never liked me much, but I also know she was pretty into romance stories. She was? She was always lounging about her parents' fancy home, her nose buried in some book or another. I never gave them much attention myself. I'm not really into reading, you see. Not based. Wow, what a surprise. Not. Real. Clock gives good poos. No, I do not! Why would you say that, QPC? But I could tell what they were about, more or less, based on the covers. She's really into princes and princesses, and lavish balls, and true love's kiss. Damn, balls. That's why I thought a kiss might do the trick during that first night. I wouldn't have suggested it otherwise. Not that I didn't think, of course, that you weren't attractive, because I did. I still do. I suggested it more out of pragmatism than anything else, though. I was trying to be smart. Yes, I'm sure you did. That was very clever of you, but it didn't work. Like, I need you to remind me. I know our first attempt was a wash, but you know what they say. What? The second time's a charm. I think that what we got up to last night must have done the trick. Hey. I pull a face. I'm trying to keep my calm, which is no easy feat given there's a handsome man only a few centimeters away from me. But I do my best. The odds are stacked against me, but I've never been one to back down from a challenge. Don't say what we got up to last night. It makes it sound like what we did was more indecent than it was. All we did was... And I thought the saying was the third time's a charm. Bro's me for real. Getting the idioms wrong? That's me. Is it? That's what I always heard. Well, perhaps we ought to go for a third round just to make sure. What do you think? I don't. I mean, don't think about it. Mwah. How cute. Cat got your tongue. Or are you more upset that the cat doesn't have your tongue? Not literally, no. I was just thinking. I stare at Blaze, almost stammering ineffectually, my face flushed from our close proximity. I've still not managed to wrap my head around all of this. It feels much too convenient for me to fully accept it. Why would you say it's true? Your voice makes people... That's not... I never want to hear that sentence again. Never tell me that again. Never say that my voice makes people... I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go die in a hole. I hate you all. I hate you. I know it's not a great voice, but come on! I'm sorry, Blaze. But I think you're going to have to pinch me. Why would I do that? I don't want to hurt you. That's very gentlemanly of you, but this is serious. The bathrooms. No. Octo, why? Why? It's all because of Lopo and his damn brownies he's bringing to the meetups. He's filling them with laxatives. I need to know if this is really real, because right now, it feels way too much like a dream. Is that so? Blaze chuckles, his breath warm against my cheek. I'm glad it's not a nightmare at least, though really, that should be my line. I'm the one who's made a miraculous recovery after all. But you know what? What? Shut the fuck up, Gab! What the fuck? No way he came back to just type that shit, bro. No way. Bro's literally typing with his ass cheeks right now. I think I can do you one better. Pinches are pretty cliche, and I wouldn't want to hurt you. Not when you're so... I am not scrawny. Delicate, I was going to say. Blaze chuckles again in that maddeningly endearing way, which makes me want to poke him in my fist and fist my fingers in the front of his shirt, bury my head in his chest. You're shaking so much already, just like a little leaf. But maybe this will help steady you. If nothing else, it ought to prove that this isn't a dream. Blaze leans in. I feel his chest pressing against my own. Feel his breath against my cheek, then... Another one? 3 kissing scenes, chat? Hey, yo, another one. I'm not taking those screenshots for myself, by the way. This is for thumbnail purposes.
No.
I'm not nutting it, I'm not jorking it. No! His lips meet my own. He's kissing me, just like he was last night. But this time, the light which is spilling through the cracks in my curtains is the pale pink, rosy light of an early morning. The last 2 kisses I exchanged with Blaze were conducted when it was pitch black outside, but this is very different. Blaze kisses me gently and slowly, as though he has all the time in the world, and maybe he does. As unbelievable as it may seem, it looks like the curse has, at long last, been broken. The morning has dawned, and Blaze hasn't turned back into a cat. He's regained his human form, and we're together, and I don't want to let him go. I've never much liked people. My school years left me an awful misanthrope, but I have to wonder now, as Blaze holds me in his muscular arms and impresses upon me a series of gentle kisses, whether my judgments were too hasty. It's not like I'm going to go through any sudden personality change. I still think people are pretty unbearable for the most part, but it's hard to maintain my icy demeanor around Blaze. Mods? Mods? Hold him down. We're beating him to death with hammers. Mods? Strap him down, boys. It's time to beat this fool with hammers to death. I don't even want to maintain it. I'm more than happy to let him thaw me out. I don't have any experience with relationships, so this is a little scary, but being with Blaze isn't all that bad. There's no guarantee that we'll always be happy together. We are pretty different, but we'll never know until we give it a shot. I've hidden away from people for the majority of my adult life, afraid of being hurt. But even if Blaze does wind up hurting me, I think it would be worthwhile. There's no pleasure without a little bit of pain, and right now, I'm happier than I've been in a long, long time. I'm so happy, in fact, I feel compelled to share at least a little bit of that happiness with Blaze. I lean into the kiss, winding my arms around Blaze's shoulders. And I deepen the kiss, twinning my tongue with his own. Twinning? I don't know. I don't think Blaze expected me to be quite so forward, and neither did I, if I'm being honest, because he gasps. His lips part against mine, and I bring our mouths together even more intimately, wet and wanting. I can taste Blaze's saliva on my tongue. It doesn't have much of a flavor, but it's still enough to make my head spin. If possible, I'd like to keep kissing him over and over again. I might be 26, but I know very little about human relations. Now that Blaze is a human again, properly, I mean, I think it's high time I learned. Who else am I going to be able to practice with? I don't like being bad at the endeavors I attempt. If kissing Blaze is going to become a regular occurrence, and I hope it will be, then I need to try and get better at it. I'm not going to let him beat me. What? Ch? Where are you getting this ch sound effect? I'm sorry, I can't do that. What does it mean? At least, that's what I tell myself as I continue to kiss Blaze. Maybe I'm being a bit shameless. Blaze is starting to whimper, but... This really does feel good. I think I could get addicted to this. Addicted! It really is a drug, bro. Spent most of that morning entwined with Blaze on the bed, engaged in very important affairs such as kissing, and more kissing. I lie on my back, Blaze atop me, as we mesh our mouths together repeatedly, finding new and interesting ways to make one another whimper. Sometimes Blaze cups my cheek with one hand, and other times he skims his fingers through my hair. He pulls my waist against him, and he pins me to the bed, and even nudges his knee against a rather sensitive part of my body during all our experimenting. By accident, I think. He springs back after he does this, red-faced, and apologizes. But I'm not too interested in his apologies. I'd rather kiss him some more, and so I do. And since I'm not accustomed to romance, I tell myself it's only sensible that I take this newfound opportunity to become more intimately acquainted with the act, and more intimately acquainted with Blaze. Can I get a hydrate check? Everybody take a sip. I tell myself my studies are purely scientific, but, well, as much as I like deepening my knowledge on various subjects, I have begun to enjoy kissing simply for its own sake. It feels so good, in fact. It requires a lot of effort for me to finally pull myself away from him. My bottle's a suck kind of bottle, like it's a straw. I gotta suck it for the water to come out. Yeah, can you guys do that hydrate too? Like a little something for me, please, right now. Feels so good, in fact, it requires a lot of effort for me to finally pull myself away from him. But I know that's what I have to do. I'm happy that the curse has been broken, but we can't leave things as they are. That's why, when Blaze and I are later eating breakfast, I say... I thought this would have just ended right then and there. Almost finished your water? Great! I think you should apologize to Charmaine. I think I'm being perfectly reasonable, but Blaze doesn't seem to agree. I would not want to see her ever again, actually. He pouts, his hair rumpled and his lips a little swollen from our earlier exertions, and says in a sullen, sulky voice, "Do I really have to, Aster?" "Yes, you have to." "What? But why?" "I don't want to go anywhere near her. The last time I saw her when I looked like this, she cursed me." "Because she caught you stealing. You really did bring it upon yourself." "Well, yeah, I guess. But she hates my guts. If you're hoping we might kiss and make up, it's not possible. The only person I want to kiss is you." I blush, then glance away as memories of our morning swirl about in the forefront of my mind. I'm glad he feels that way, but... Stop trying to distract me. I'd rather stay in and kiss you too, but you do have some responsibilities as a fellow human being. You're not a cat anymore, so you need to start acting like it. We need to try and rectify things. I bet everyone's like kicking their feet, giggling, like blushing right now in their beds, like kicking their feet in the air. I'm not suggesting that we visit Charmaine, you know, because I want to make you squirm. Though that, I must admit, is quite an amusing thought in its own way. Maybe I'm a bit of a bully. I wouldn't know, given I don't spend enough time with people on the whole to understand how I prefer to interact with them. I always thought I didn't prefer to interact with people, full stop, but maybe I was mistaken. I'm suggesting this because I think it's the right thing to do. Theft is wrong, regardless of your reasons. You might have suffered in the past, but two wrongs don't make a right. Now that you've returned to your human form, you really ought to apologize. That's only proper. Blaze harumphs. He doesn't look too thrilled about my suggestion, but that doesn't come as a surprise. I didn't think he would be. Since when did you care about what was proper, Aster? You were pretty rude to that noble lady who came to bother you, weren't you? You mean Angelique? Yeah, her. The one with all the hair and the high-pitched voice. She had quite the presence about her. I can't say I cared for her too much. You wouldn't be the only one. I probably shouldn't have been so harsh with her, but not when she's not when she's a paying customer. I did wrong by her. But you did far worse to Charmaine. If you don't want her to hold a grudge, you ought to come with me. I can try to apologize on your behalf, but I think that it'd reflect pretty poorly on you. You don't want her to think that you're a coward, do you? Well, of course not. You're not planning to talk to her, are you, even without me? I might just be. What of it? You know you can't do that. I really would look awful then, like I was treating you like an errand boy. Yes, I suppose it might come across that way. Is that not the impression you want Charmaine to have of our relationship? Of course not. I don't really care about getting her forgiveness. I think that bridge has been burnt already, but I don't want anybody thinking I don't treat you well. You mean the world to me, Aster. Well, good. I'm very glad you think so. I like you a lot too, which is why I want you to try and make amends with Charmaine. I think it'd do you some good in the long run. I don't want you to being so afraid of her you can't head into Oxal in case you run into her. I'm not afraid of her. Why are you shaking then? I'm not. I mean, I really couldn't care less, one way or the other. Uh-huh, I'm so sure. But if you think it'd help, then, well, you do read a lot of books, and you are pretty smart. You're a lot cleverer than I am, at least. Why, thank you. I'm glad you noticed. So if you think this is a good idea, I guess I'd better go along with it, just to see, I guess. I mean, how bad could it be? I'm sure it'll be fine. Cat, what are you doing? After all. Blaze smiles at me, and his eyes crinkling in the corners, he says, I'll be with you. Hey, my cat's behind me. He's doing some parkour meowing. Later that day. Well, well, well. Look at what the cat dragged in. That's the common saying, at least. But maybe under these circumstances, it would be more appropriate to say, look at the cat who dragged himself in. Hehe. Charmaine giggles while observing myself and Blaze from her overstuffed armchair. She toys with one of her pigtails, which is every bit as uneven as I remember, and says, I'm glad you turned back, Blaze. I was sure you would after I saw the way Mr. Wizard was fawning over you during your last visit, but it's nice to have some confirmation. You two must have gotten pretty close. Am I right, or am I right? Huh? Blaze, who doesn't fluster easily, I know from experience, now turns a brilliant shade of sunset red. What do you mean? We got close. What does that have to do with you? It has everything to do with me, surely. I'm the one who put that curse on you. Don't forget. Of course, I'm happy to see that you broke it, though I was banking on you being stuck as a cat for just a little while longer. I wanted to see you panic. I think you deserve a bit of trauma after everything you did to my poor, poor father. But it's like it is in my romance stories. True love always wins out in the end. Charmaine pouts. You two are so lovey-dovey. I'm kind of jealous. You're all over one another. When am I going to find a handsome prince of my own, Nanny? I am sure you will find a wonderful man, milady, when you are old enough. Lord Velour does not think it wise, however, to introduce you to any eligible bachelors before your 18th year. As is right! He does it to protect you. It is for your own good. I think my daddy's a bit too protective, if you ask me. I'm not a child. Living here is so boring. I'd even be all right with a beautiful princess if she offered to whisk me out of that, out of that awful Armand's clutches, or maybe even a beautiful maid. Have you ever wanted to marry into nobility, Nanny? You might be able to afford some nice dresses then. I'm sure you look as pretty as a picture. Milady, please, do not start up with this again. Not in front of the guests. Oh, that's so cute. A red-faced Nanette shoots an awkward look at Blaze and myself, while Charmaine giggles, Yuri? Yuri? At least Blaze isn't the only person Charmaine likes teasing to within an inch of their life. I wonder if that's making Blaze feel any better or not. Yuri? Oh, don't be such an old fuss spot, Nanny. They're the last people to judge after everything they've been up to. I'm sure you would be well aware that love takes all sorts of forms, hee. It's not the 17th century anymore. You can buy all sorts of interesting love stories now, not just ones about men and women. Why, just the other day I was reading an interesting tome about a young man and a werewolf, which was most... Milady, please, stop that at once. Your behavior is quite unpardonable. If Lady Velour were to hear of this, then... She'd faint in shock, I know. Geez, you never let me have any fun, Nanny. I let you read those questionable books, though I am beginning to rethink my position on this matter. You are becoming quite unmanageable. Oh, don't be so uptight. I'm just a young maiden in love. What could be so very bad about that? Who are you in love with? You have no suitors, a fact you yourself complained of. Why, I'm in love with the idea of love, of course. I think it's wonderful. I'll never turn my nose up when it comes to romance, not even between a grumpy wizard like you, mister, and your wicked, duplicitous, thieving ex-cat. All forms of love are worthy in my eyes. Based. You've been talking about love at great length, but I don't understand. Are you insinuating that Blaze and I are in a relationship? But of course, and I'm not just insinuating it, I know that it's true. She isn't wrong. The fierce blush on Blaze's face is probably giving him away, but... And on what grounds do you have to base that exactly? You haven't figured it out? Charmaine blinks at me, all girlish innocence, before responding. Just think about it, Mr. Wizard. I thought you were meant to be clever. What's the most popular way of breaking a curse, Think about all the fairy tales. That would be... not true love's kiss. Exactly! I think it's such a lovely idea that I had to work it into my magic. I had Blaze's enchantment all set up, so it would break the moment somebody who loved him gave him a smooch. Don't you think that's charming? Oh my. Does that mean the pair of you are a couple? Well, one doesn't like to bandy about it, but yes, I suppose we are. We were able to break the curse between us, as a matter of fact. But this is interesting. Get your dirty, horny asses away from me, Chad. This is wholesome! And I love wholesome. This is the shit I live for, bro. We were able to break the curse between us, as a matter of fact, but this is interesting. What is? You told us when we came to see you that you didn't know how to lift the curse. You said you had no earthly idea. Oh, I know. I remember that. Then why didn't you mention it sooner? Why'd you have to make this as difficult as possible? Well, why not? You did steal from my household, don't forget that. I don't think I was under any obligation to tell you how to get your usual body, not when that was supposed to be a punishment. I wanted to make you squirm for a little bit, as befitting a rotten thief like you. And well, telling you would defeat the point. You can't force true love. It's something that has to develop naturally. If I had told you, you'd probably set off into Oxel, trying to kiss every person around, and that would have been a disaster. You would have caused a public disturbance. I like Blaze more than Aster. I mean, that kind of makes sense, because you're Aster, and Blaze is supposed to be the one that romances you. So hopefully you like Blaze more than Aster, I would say. Like, the player is Aster, so... I'm pretty sure the point is that Blaze likes you as much, that you like Blaze as much as possible. The cat boy, that is. I like Charmaine. Well, shit. Bro's dying. If I had told you, you probably would have set off into Oxel, trying to kiss every person around, and that would have been a disaster. You would have caused a public disturbance. I think I handled things as best as I could, and everything worked out in the end, didn't it? You're a human again, and you've fallen in love with Mr. Wizard. Stop that, cat. You look so cute together. It's almost enough to make me forget all of the wrongs you wrought me, Blaze. You're both adorable when you blush like that. I'm so happy for you. Now, what do you have to say to me? Are we supposed to say something to you? I think so. Shouldn't a thank you be in order? You wouldn't have gotten together if it wasn't for me. It's almost like I'm some kind of Cupid. I'm so kind, I scare even myself. I don't know if cursing me was all that kind. I mean, I'm glad everything was alright. But what if Aster had been any slower in realizing he actually has a huge thing for me? Then I would have been stuck as a cat forever. What? No, you wouldn't have. Where'd you get a silly idea like that? You told us that? I did? You did. He's right, you gave us a week's limit. I remember that too, milady. You were quite specific on that point, milady. Sorry, whoops. Oh, did I? Charmaine blinks in the manner of one who's heard something unexpected. Then coyly she grins. I guess I must have been annoyed at you, Blaze, for being so naughty, so I decided to give you a bit of a scare. I wanted to make you panic just a teensy tiny bit, but I didn't mean it. I'm a pretty strong witch, but there's no way I would have been able to curse you indefinitely. It would have been way too tiring. It was pretty tiring cursing you for as long as I did, actually. It made me so lethargic I couldn't pay attention in any of my etiquette lessons. I kept falling asleep. I thought you kept falling asleep because, and I quote, Armand is an old bore and his voice could put even the fierce demonic General Severia to sleep. Well, yes, that was also a contributing factor, but my magical energy isn't infinite, you know. I'm glad you all think so highly of me, though, that you think I really could have made good on that threat. I didn't know I was that intimidating, hehe. Wait, so let me get this straight. Are you saying Blaze wasn't in any immediate danger? Nope. The spell would have worn off on its own in a couple of weeks at the most. Kiss or no kiss, though I'm very glad that you did decide to go for the kiss route. That's the most exciting ending to this little tale, hehe. Oh, I'm sure it is, to you at least. I sighed, then pinched the bridge of my nose between my thumb and index finger. I think I can feel a headache coming on, and Charmaine's breezy laughter isn't helping. It's nice to know she's not so sociopathic that she genuinely intended to stick Blaze in a cat's body for the rest of his days, but making him believe that was ever an option does seem a bit... Well, what a witch. Well, sadistic. It's little wonder Nanette always looks so harried. I'd feel harried too, having to put up with a girl like this. I can't help but feel like I was being played for a fool. You were. But I guess I can't be too mad at Charmaine. She is right in one regard, at least. If it wasn't for her, my relationship with Blaze would never have had a chance to blossom. I'm glad that I met him. He's changed my life for the better, and though this might have started because he swiped a few utensils from the Velour family, he has stolen something far more precious from me. I used to guard my own feelings jealously, fearful that they would be used against me, but no longer. Finally, I feel like I can let my guard down. I'm happy with Blaze, and that, I hope, will never change. Like one of the romance stories Charmaine is so fond of, I can only hope that we can stay together no matter what, and that we too can have a happily ever after. My cute cat. Finished chapter 3. My confounding cat is criminally cute. Writing by ebi-hime. I hope I'm saying that right. Programming also by ebi-hime. Art by Ekkoberry. Let's fucking go! Both of you guys did amazing, by the way. If you watch this, either of you, anybody who's watching this, Ekkoberry and ebi-hime did a great job. Cryset bass music was also very good and on point. Same with the sound effects. Obviously just free sound effects, but I really liked them. They were really good, okay? Opening video by Finalgo. Very good stuff. I really liked it. The cat has derpy eyes? No, it has homophobic eyes. Can't you tell? I love Ekkoberry, by the way. Ekkoberry's really based. I would play more of ebi-hime's games if I had the chance, because they have a lot of games. Thank you for reading. But I have played a lot of Ekkoberry's. If you'd like this video, a very similar game to this would be Just Kiss Him Already. A boy's love about... a very wholesome boy's love, too, by the way. There's still more! Epilogue. All's well that ends well. Never mind, chat, there's an epilogue. There's an epilogue, chat. Thank you once again for your patronage. It really is appreciated. I hope you swing by again sometime. We'll be waiting. Blaze bids a cheerful goodbye to our latest customer. It leaves with several tonics all wrapped up nice and neat in a paper bag and beams. Tucking a strand of dark hair behind one ear, he turns to me and says, and that's a wrap. I was gonna recommend Starry Flowers too. That is by NomNomNami, who's also an amazing developer who writes lots of LGBT stories about cute boys and cute girls and their gay relationships. And that's a wrap. Looks like we had another successful day, eh, huh? Oh, another successful day, huh, Aster? I tried to say, eh. The Canadian in me, eh. Don't you think that business has been booming lately, eh? There you go. I guess. I suppose I should be happy that my humble little shop has exploded in popularity during the last fortnight, but it is a little humbling. My shop did well enough in the pre-Blaze days before he started to work as my assistant, but it was slow going. I was fortunate to get about a dozen customers a week. Sometimes I went several days without seeing a single person. This suited me just fine. It gave me more time to myself, to work on my strange and eclectic potions for my own amusement, but my finances were pretty tight. For a wizard who graduated at the top of the class from the esteemed Oleander Academy, can't say I was doing particularly well for myself. In fact, in comparison to the rest of my classmates, many of whom went on to become professional sorcerers or personal witches and wizards to the wealthy elite, I was barely scraping by. Why are they playing Fortnite? Shut the hell up. I've never been a man of expensive tastes, of expensive habits, so it's not like I need a lot to get by. All I really require is money enough to keep a roof over my head and food in my belly. I never begrudged my lot in life, therefore, but it does feel like a weight has lifted off my shoulders since Blaze started working with me. If you make it to the end of the video, I'll explain the other games I'd recommend after watching this. Ever since he started as my assistant, we've seen a steady increase in customers. Today in particular, we've been absolutely swamped. The man who just left, bearing several tonics for myriad health problems, was our 12th customer of the day, something which would have been unthinkable back in the old days, save for on very, very rare occasions. I thought I managed this place just fine on my own, despite my staggering lack of people skills, but I can now see I was doing a pretty poor job. Blaze, with his chipper demeanor and his easygoing attitude, has turned this place around. Word somehow got out around Oxel that I found a new apprentice. People have been rushing in droves to come out here and see him. Blaze's patter really must be appealing if people have been willing to tramp all the way through the woods to pay us a visit. We've even had a few maids from the royal palace where Queen Asmodeus reigns, and I think one of her demon lackeys stopped by too, a tanned girl with horns wearing very little clothing who wanted a wakefulness tonic, so I can perk Nimue up a little, you know? Hey, yo! Based. I don't know who this Nimue is, but I serve this demon politely enough, despite her horns and her tail. Can I get a stretch? Whip it out! Whip it out for Harambe right now, boys. And for the girlies, I don't know, torque it or something. Just make sure to stretch. Okay. I know some people in Miel are wary around demons, given the immense... Oh, and for the boys, after you whip it out, helicopter that shit. And also, maybe take a sip, because we've been playing for like 3.5 hours. Or... I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. I know some people in Miel are wary around demons, given the immense amount of magical power they possess, but I've always been more pragmatic. I might be an ordinary human, but I can perform some pretty impressive feats of magic myself. Thinking about it that way, I don't think I'm all that different from a demon myself. Though I don't have the horns, of course. In any case, while I'm thankful Blaze's presence had led to an uptick in customers, it is a bit embarrassing. I wish I could have done that myself. I mean, this is my shop. It's my name on the sign outside, hewn into the woods. Aster's Apothecary. It's simple, but it gets the job done. The apothecary hasn't quite felt like mine, however, since Blaze started to work here. While people come here ostensibly for my tonics, I feel like Blaze is a bigger draw. He's so personable, even I find myself getting drawn into his patter, and I'm the one who brewed the damn potions he waxes lyrical about. It's galling, being bested at my own business by a newbie like him, but I know he's doing this for my sake. I shouldn't begrudge him for my newfound success. I should be thankful, and I am, but... well, it's complicated. Maybe I'm just cranky since I've been dealing with more customers lately. Blaze takes care of all the small talk, but I still have more potions to brew than usual, which means I have less time for all the strange experiments. I'm a bit worried I'll wind up burning myself out if it hasn't begun already. Vacation! But hey, I have more money now, which means I can afford some of the rarer, more exotic ingredients to be delivered to me. That means I can make a stab at some really exotic potions I've only read about in books before, provided I can find the time, of course. Yeah, you've been doing a great job. Things haven't been the same since you got here. I know, aren't I the best? I've gotta say, I'm not used to working this hard. Not even the velour has pushed me so much, but it's nice having so many people to chat to. Is it now? I frown. Blaze has only been living with me for a fortnight, but he is already getting bored of my company. I know I'm not the most interesting person out there, but I'm starting to worry. Yo, thank you for the gifted sub. Much appreciated, Cherry Red Bunny. He doesn't prefer customers to me, does he? My shoulders slump, and I think Blaze sees it. He might not be a cat anymore, but his eyes are still plenty discerning. Bounding over to me, he grins and then says, "But of course, I like talking to you the most. Don't worry, Aster." It was interesting listening to that guy who just left. He said he knew Hebe Clarence. Can you believe it? But he's just not my type. You're the only one for me. Blaze grins, then gives me a quick peck on the cheek. I know he's just trying to placate me, but it works. I find myself flushing regardless, a small smile rising to my lips. Well, thanks. You're the only one for me too, despite yourself sometimes. Glad to hear it. Sometimes I worry that I tire you out, but maybe things are working out all right after all. It's fine. You're not tiring me out. It's all of the customers. Place 8. Isn't it place 8? Is it placate? I actually don't know how to say that word. Shrugs. Placate? Or placate? Suffering from success, are you? Placate. Ah, okay, thank you. I suppose so. But there are worse things a man can suffer from. Yeah, I don't listen to audiobooks or anything, I just read. I'm one of those guys who just read a lot as a kid. You're so right. I'm glad you don't have the pox, not like some of our poor customers. I'm glad we can make their lives a little better at least. Sorry, excuse me, what? Placky latte? Is that? There's no fucking way it's placky latte. There's no way, I don't believe you. Placky latte. Okay, alright. But I'm even gladder that I get to work with you. Placky latte. Now, do I get a reward for putting in so much hard work? Maybe a pat on the head? What? I don't know why you're so into having your head patted of all things. You aren't a cat anymore. No, but I was a cat for a while thanks to Charmaine. I might not chase mice or birds about. Charmaine? Thank goodness. If Blaze started to drag desecrated carcasses indoors, we'd have a few problems. But I still like having my head patted. Feels good. I also hate audiobooks. Like, I can't really listen to, like, audiobooks and stuff. I'm okay with movies and stuff, but I read a lot as a kid. So I never really, like, you know. Placate was the word we were talking about. I know, it's like, epitome? Epitome. I said epitome for, like, the longest time and no one corrected me, and I was like, the fuck, everybody? Why didn't you stop me? What the hell? I was just out here saying epitome, and you're just, nobody's correcting me to say epitome? What are you doing? But I still like having my head patted. Feels good. Oh, I love video games, don't get me wrong. I played video games a shit ton. I was just a poor kid. So, when I couldn't afford a video game, I went to the library, and I rented books. Borrowed books, not rented. Won't you give me a bit of a treat, Aster? I think I deserve it. I've been working hard, haven't I? Hey, I mean, reading the dictionary all you want. Even the vocabulary, like even the dictionary, even the pronunciation guide in the dictionary isn't great all the time. Well, I flush, taken aback by Blaze's large, winsome eyes. I thought it was easiest for him to win me over when he was still a cat, but that's not strictly true. He's pretty good at getting what he wants while he's in a human form too. I wish I wasn't so weak-willed, but... Oh, alright. If a pat on the head is all you want, I don't suppose it's such a steep price to pay. Now come here. Yay, you're the best, Aster. If Blaze still had a tail, I bet it would be twitching, but that's a moot point. He doesn't have a tail anymore, or the ears, and yet... Ah, this feels nice. Being patted by you feels so nice. Some of his cat-like tendencies have remained. He sighs as I sink my digits into his hair, running the tips of my fingers against his scalp. Since Blaze is so much taller than I am, he has to bend so I can pat him properly. It's a bit of a perplexing power play, but I'm not really sure who's in charge here. Blaze for requesting my attention, or me for taking charge. I'm not gonna lie, head scratches are very nice. Like IRL, like for real, head scratches are nice. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. That's not a cat tendency, that's just true. My relationship with Blaze is a little convoluted in general, owing to how we met, but I'm not unhappy with how things played out. We've only been together for a couple of weeks, but that's enough time for me to appreciate what a positive impact he's had on my life. I feel a lot happier with him around than I did without him. It gives me a reason to wake up in the mornings, quite literally often, since he's always the one who wakes up first. He's been helping a lot around the house. He's surprisingly good at cooking and cleaning, and he's helped drum up a lot of business thanks to his cheery, smiley attitude. Stop with your weird-ass comments, man. I was just about to say me for real, for real. He promised he'd make himself useful when I offered to let him become my apprentice, and he's made good on it and then some. Stop, Daniel! No! Not again! At this point, I'm not really sure what I'd do without him. He's helped me more than I think he even realizes. Murr. 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 He sounds pretty cute when he purrs like that. Chat, please. I continue to pat his head, my fingertips rubbing against his scalp. We've done this often enough that I know his most sensitive spots when... Oh, Aster, I was hoping that you would be here. I know you sometimes go for walks in the woods, but my intuition told me you would be available today. I suppose that is further proof that we are fated to be together. I know we've had a few disputes in the past, but they do say that absence makes the heart grow fonder. I hope that you missed me, just as I missed you. This is not going to go well, is it? It feels as though it's been too long since I last came here. Oh. I start red-faced, my hand falling from Blaze's scalp, and whip my head upwards. I think I recognize the sound of that smug, self-assured voice, and sure enough... Angelique. She is a cutie, though. For real, you know. The prim and proper lass? I'm not gonna lie. Who the hell is that? One of the most beautiful girls you'll ever see, chat. It's too bad we're gay. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's perfectly fine, okay? Just as I suspected, Angelique Lumiere herself is standing in the doorway of my humble apothecary, flanked by her trusty maid Ninette. Nah, she's lame. What do you mean? No way. I mean, she is bossy, but sometimes you like that in a girl, man. Sometimes it's a plus, you know? Angelique looks much the same as always, her blonde hair teased into curls. She's wearing her favorite ostentatious dress. Not that that's saying much. All of her dresses are ostentatious, which looks a bit too fancy for a trip to the woods. Then again, that's Angelique all over. She really does have more money than sense. She doesn't seem to have noticed mine and Blaze's proximity, but Ninette does. She zeroes in on us, her iris is narrowed, then says, Gay. Perhaps we've interrupted something, my lady. Do you think we should leave and come back on another occasion? What? Angelique's nose wrinkles. For a moment, I worry she might realize what it is Ninette's getting at, but this doesn't seem to be the case. A few seconds pass, and then... Why would we leave, Ninette? What a ridiculous suggestion. Why, we only just got here. I don't know about you, but I've no desire to waste my time traipsing back and forth across Oxel, especially not to pay impromptu visits to this home. Damn, was she gonna say hovel just then? I know she was. Yes. She might have been able to course correct just in time, but I still heard her. Boring probably doesn't smell like Old Spice. What? She will after I'm done with her. Oh, I've always known that Angelique doesn't exactly have a high opinion of my home, but still, it might be a bit messy, but I don't think it's that bad. What, I wear Old Spice? We've come here, so here we shall stay, until I have conducted my business, that is. I also wear cologne too, but... There's something I wish to discuss with Aster. You might wish to discuss something with him, but does he want to discuss something with you? I think he might be busy, my lady. Doing what? Angelique scoffs. Don't be a ninny, Ninette. I know it's hard for you to help it, but what in the world could Aster have to do that's more important than serving me? I live to serve you, ma'am. Do not forget, I am a member of the Lumiere family. Now, Aster, would you mind showing your... Customer out. Once again, I don't fail to notice the derision that drips from Angelique's voice. She might have called Blaze a customer, but I'm pretty sure the first word which came to the tip of her tongue was vagabond. I don't like axe. Axe is gross. Sorry, bros. If you use axe, it's too much. It's just bad most of the time. So you can attend to more important affairs, namely me. You might have disappointed me once, but I'm willing to give you another chance. I'm not a forgiving woman by nature, but I wanted to allow you an opportunity to redeem yourself. If nothing else, it would have felt unladylike not to. Now, aren't you happy? Well, but of course you are. Anybody would be. I'd be positively over the moon were I in your shoes. Angelique's pointed gaze flickers down to my feet, and she shudders. Not that I would ever wear your shoes, of course. They are much too drab, and they wouldn't go with my dress at all. Now, are you going to show this young man out? Your atelier is dirty enough as it is, without letting such unscrupulous, shady-looking characters loiter about. You will give yourself a bad reputation, and I'm unsure if that's something you can afford, not when your reputation is so poor already. Be gone with you, my good sir. Leave. Shoo! Angelique makes a shooing gesture towards Blaze, which makes my lips quirk upwards into a small smile. Angelique's being unbearable, as per usual, but there is something a little funny about her treating the newly human Blaze just like anybody would a stray cat. He doesn't have the ears anymore, or the tail, but that isn't enough to deter Angelique. For a blue-blooded young lady, she sure doesn't seem to mind taking liberties with her manners. Not that she needs to fuss too much about etiquette, I suppose. She's rich enough to not bother with it at all. Not like the rest of us commoners. Blaze smiles lopsidedly, amused by Angelique's shenanigans. Well, at least he doesn't look offended, then says, "Begging your pardon, milady, but I'm not a customer. And I'm not loitering about either." "Oh?" Angelique quirks an eyebrow, her arms crossed. "You aren't?" "I'm afraid not. It'll take more than that to get rid of me. I've become something of a permanent fixture around this place. As it happens, since I am Aster's new assistant." "New assistant?" Angelique blinks, then she frowns. Yes, I did hear something about that on the grapevine, but really... Why did you have to employ a fellow like this to be your assistant, Aster? He hasn't even tucked his shirt in, and his hair is a mess. Has he ever heard of a comb before? Your home might be a veritable pigsty, but that doesn't mean your employees need to be similarly disorganized. Angelique! Please, hit me harder with more insults. Well, that is... I apologize, milady, if my appearance offends your eyes. I know I'm not the best-looking guy out there, but I'm plenty competent. I can assure you of that. I have a bit of experience working for fancy young ladies such as you, actually, so I at least know my P's and my Q's. Now please allow me to introduce myself properly. My name is Blaze, and it really is a pleasure to meet you. Enchanté. Hey, yo! Blaze takes a smart step forwards, then bends. Taking Angelique's hand between his own deft fingers, he dips his head and presses a kiss against her knuckles. It's just a light graze, but I think I see the beginnings of a blush forming on Angelique's fair face. She isn't upset, is she? I watch her uneasily, waiting for what I'm sure will be the inevitable outrage, as too does Nanette, but... Well, at least you have some manners. To my immense surprise, it doesn't come. Instead, Angelique glances away, now toying with a lock of fair hair. This is new, as she says, "Perhaps you aren't as uncultured as I first feared." Looks can be deceiving, or so they say. There's more to me than meets the eye. So what can I do for you today, my fair lady? I can't imagine you come here for any potions to whiten your teeth or smooth your skin. Your appearance is flawless already, just like a seraph's. Well... Angelique falters. This is really most unlike her, while Nanette scowls in the background. Angelique's white-haired maid clears her throat, then says, "If you want some instructions, Mr. Blaze, you can let go of Milady for a start. I doubt she appreciates being manhandled in such a way. Isn't that correct, Milady?" Nanette's voice was initially full of self-confidence, but it wavers as she glances at Angelique. She takes in Angelique's dewy eyes and her flushed cheeks, which are now the color of caramel apples, then frowns. "Milady, what is it? Please come to your senses. Mr. Blaze has asked you a question." "What?" Oh, yes, my apologies. With an awkward laugh, on one which doesn't sound at all like the Angelique I know, she draws her hand away from Blaze's grasp. Cradling it to her chest as though it's a baby rabbit, she then says, "Please bear with me. I was not expecting such an address. I'm rather used to Aster's clumsy, artless manner of customer service." Huh? Since when was I clumsy? I scowl. I like to think I'm pretty good with my hands, thank you very much, while Blaze titters. He can be a bit awkward, yeah. That's why he took me on. I talk to most of his clients for him, so he gets more time poring over his potions. I think it's a pretty good arrangement if I do say so myself. We've seen a real uptick in customers since I started helping. I'm hardly surprised. As talented a wizard as Aster is, he has always been so awkward. I've been coming to him for years already. Hey, yo. But I fear he still doesn't know how to treat a woman. Not like you do. Aster, my man, come on. You and he could not be more dissimilar, and I mean that in the best possible way. I was wondering whether I would continue to patronize this place, but given the degree of service I've received today, I feel I have no choice but to grant you my continued service. A kind, well-spoken man such as you deserves it. Milady, please, whatever happened to your feelings for Aster? What feelings towards Aster? That's a good point. This is the first I'm hearing about this. I know that Blaze had some suspicions, but having them confirmed like this, from Ninette of all people, is pretty unexpected, Riz. True. It doesn't seem like Angelique wants to play along, however. She frowns instead, then says, I don't recall feeling anything special towards him. He was, and always has been, a convenient dispenser of potions at a reasonable price. Our relationship is strictly business. You say that, yet you were mooning about not seeing him for the last fortnight. You were so grumpy it made even your father worry, and he hardly ever pays attention to your affairs. I was beginning to worry for you. You'd been eating so little. Yet now you are acting as though there was nothing amiss. Well, there wasn't. You were reading into it too much like always, Ninette. Dumped him real fucking quick. Haven't I told you to stop being such a ninny? Yes, my lady, but nothing. From this point onwards, Aster's dead to me. I find his new assistant, Blake, was it? Blaze, my lady. Blaze, then. I find you to be much more diverting. You really are a man after my own heart. Ho 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 ho! I can't do that laugh. Why, thank you. I'm very flattered. Though I don't think I deserve your heart. It's far too fine a gift for me. Simply seeing you smile is all I could ask for. Blaze flashes her a winning smile and bows his head. Angelique, meanwhile, sighs. It looks like she's close to swooning, and Ninette clicks her tongue. And I thought my lady's fixation with Aster was irritating. I fear this will be even harder to shake. He is rather charming, isn't he? I sidle up to Ninette, then glance over at Blaze. He's busy giving Angelique a run through the various potions I offer like she needs to know. Angelique has been here enough times that she should know my full repertoire off by heart, but she listens to him regardless, hanging on his every word like a little girl. She nods eagerly at everything Blaze says, her eyes bright, and when he tells her jokes, she starts to titter. It's so Jover. When the girl laughs at everything you say, it's fucking Jover, dude. She couldn't make her interest more obvious if she tried. I think he is too charming for his own good. The way he speaks might be flowery, but it's not so dissimilar to a con artist's. Where did you pick him up anyway? The gutter? It was from the flue of my chimney, actually, but that's not a bad guess. He was pretty grimy. Women like funny... I'm not saying it... that's exactly what I'm saying. A lot of women like funny guys. Why was I ever worried about what Angelique might think of me anyway? I needn't have bothered, not if she's going to move on this quickly. It's not that I ever particularly liked Angelique, but still. Women really are fickle. It helps a lot if you're handsome too, I guess. I wouldn't know. I spent the rest of the afternoon and all the ensuing evening in a poor mood, because I'm not funny or handsome. I'm just stupid. In a poor mood. Blaze tries to lighten things up over the dinner table, but I'm not having it. I'm really not in the mood for conversation, not after watching him ingratiate himself with Angelique like that. I know he was just doing his job, but geez, did he really need to be that effective about it? I turn over Blaze's behavior for most of the night. This is a long epilogue, even after I changed into my pajamas and grab a book to read from a shelf at random.
The book is just a self-voicing disabled.
Stop that self-voicing. What the The book is just a prop, however. I'm not really reading it. Can't pay attention. My thoughts are all over the place, though they're mostly centered on Blaze. Why was he being so nice to Angelique? I mean, I know why logically, but it still stings. I flip through the pages of my book angrily, using more force than necessary to turn them. The pages bend beneath my fingers, but I'm too incensed to really care. At the moment, I don't think I'd even care if I ripped it. I'm not one to advocate violence against books. I think they're precious resources, but crumpling a few pages seems like a better idea than kicking Blaze in the shin. I don't want to get into a fight with him. I know I'm being unreasonable, but that doesn't make me any less peeved. Epiluigi. It doesn't help either when Blaze looms over my shoulder and says, his voice askance. Hey, Aster, what's wrong? I grunt in response and he frowns. And what's that supposed to mean, huh? I mean, it's none of your damn business. What? Blaze takes a step back, but he doesn't give me the wide berth that I want. Instead, he pouts and says, what's gotten into you? You seemed happy enough this morning. As happy as you ever are, I mean. But you've been so grumpy since we closed up shop. I would have thought you'd be happy, Aster, since takings were so high today. Why aren't you more enthusiastic? Oh god, hiccups. I'm never enthusiastic. Well, that much is true at least. But are you sure there isn't something wrong? You're not usually this aggressive. Yes, I'm sure. It's nothing. Really? Blaze takes a step in, then peers over my shoulder once again. You've had your nose buried in that book for the last half hour, but Aster... What? You can't have been reading it. I mean, it's not even the right way up. Huh? No way, dude. Now this is news to me. I was so focused on my own silly feelings of indignation. I wasn't paying this book much heed. Now Blaze mentions it, however, he's right. It really is upside down. So jelly, he's got the stupid in him now. What the hell have I been doing? Oh, that was just, test. A test. Yes, I was, trying to decode an arcane script. I thought approaching it from a different angle might help. You say that, but the book was in Mielian. And how would you know that, huh? You hardly read at all. Well, yeah, but I'm not Well, yeah, but I'm not illiterate. I read enough. I'm not so stupid you can fob me off with an excuse like that, Aster. I'm kind of hurt you think so little of me. Yeah. I pout, still looking away from Blaze's face pointedly. I can't bring myself to meet his gaze, not when I'm in such a bad mood. I know I'm being petty, but geez, can't Blaze figure it out on his own? The fact he even has to ask is more annoying than the fact he's asking at all. Goddamn your quacks. I sit there for a few moments, scowling until... Alright, fine, you've got me. I'm not upset about nothing, though knowing you, you'd probably say that it is. It's okay to be jealous. It happens. People get jealous. It's one of the ways you know your partner cares. I doubt you think it's a big deal. You can be so careless sometimes. Well, I can't argue with that. Guilty as charged, but still, I feel like I should be the one to say how I feel about things, not you. Now, are you going to fess up? Fine, if you really want to know, I don't appreciate that you were being so friendly with Angelique earlier, that's all. Oh, so that's the problem, is it? Of course, what else would it be? You really didn't need to lead her on, flattering her ego like that. It's already so monstrous, I'm surprised she can fit through the doorways. If you keep it up, her head will get so swollen she won't be able to stand. She really doesn't need you buttering her up, not when she has a bunch of maids who will do that for her already. Not that Nanette seems like the sycophantic sort. She's surprisingly straight-laced, given she's Angelique's maid, but that's probably for the best. Once again, a lot of words. Don't know them. I'm stupid. I'm illiterate, too. If Angelique had been made, who folded her... Yeah, it's sycophantic. I said it like that the first time, but I don't know why. I don't know why. I just second guessed it. I do that a lot though. Thanks, Cat. Much appreciated for all the help today. If Angelique had a maid who folded to her all the time, like Charmaine's Nanette, I'm afraid she'd be even more unbearable than she is, and she's already plenty unbearable on her own. Psycho pancake idic. Based. I don't want Blaze justifying her behavior, and worst of all, and I don't think you needed to kiss her either. I mumbled this last part under my breath in little more than a whisper, aware that I'm being ridiculous. I know that Blaze didn't mean anything by that kiss. It was a pleasantry more than anything, but it still stings. I don't want him kissing anybody but me, not even on the hand, and especially not Angelique. The whole thing has put me in a dour mood, though I feel stupid for being so upset in the first place, which of course only succeeds in upsetting me all the more. I scowl as I look down at my desk, not wanting to meet Blaze's mismatched eyes. I don't think I can. I just want to sit and stew in a well of my own self-imposed misery, but... What was that, Aster? Blaze must have heard me, though, now that I think about it. I'm not sure whether this is what I wanted after all. I never can tell when I'm with him. He always makes me doubt myself, forever second-guessing my true intentions, wondering what it is that I want. But in actuality, I know it's all rather straightforward. The only thing that I want is for Blaze to pay attention to me. He grins now, ruffling the top of my head, and says, "Oh, Aster, you silly thing." And what's so silly exactly? Why are you looking at me like that? And why are you mussing up my hair? You know why. And stop being so precious about your hair. You've never cared about it before. Why start now? Is it too late for me to care about my looks? Well, no, I suppose not. But if you start fussing, you're going to end up like Angelique. You say that like it's a negative. But you and her seemed to be getting along very well earlier. Don't think I didn't see her hanging on your every word, giggling like a schoolgirl. Don't think I didn't see it either, or hear it. She wasn't being very subtle. Yes, well, I don't think Angelique would know the meaning of the word subtle if it clubbed her over the head. Probably not, no. And you say I'm too forceful. Blaze laughs, then gives my hair another ruffle. I desert. You really don't need to be jealous, though. I know I was being nice to her. Maybe a little too nice, but it was all customer service. I figured a toity-toity madam like her would enjoy being treated like a princess. I just went with my gut instinct. I was trying to get on her good side, especially since you failed to finish her last potion on time. Yes, and whose fault was that? Exactly. I know you only missed your last deadline because of me, so I wanted to make amends. I really did want to win her back over, so you could get one of your best customers back, but I wasn't doing it because I have any particular interest in her. I was trying to help you, Aster. Well, I know that Blaze is in the right, but I can't shake the mental image of Blaze's lips against the back of Angelique's hand from my mind. It was only a slight brush, hardly enough to be called a kiss, really, but still. Seeing my boyfriend kiss somebody else, especially Angelique Lumiere, still stings. Oh yeah, I did D's nuts your name. If I want to be mad about it, I think I deserve to. It doesn't matter how justified my temper is, I have every right. Women. I'm kidding. Seriously, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, that was rude. You want to help me? If you want to help me, you have a funny way of going about it. You didn't need to put in quite that much work. Probably not, no, but I wanna work hard for your sake, Aster, so we can secure a comfortable future together. I just want to make myself useful. Do you know what? What? I might have been treating Angelique like a princess, but I've never been all that interested in them. I far prefer princes, especially when they're cool and aloof, and just a little grumpy, but with soft and gooey centers. That's the sort of person I'm interested in. And that's the only sort of person I really want to kiss. In fact, Blaze grins. He leans down, then quicker than blinking, grabs hold of me. He hauls me up to my feet before I can protest, pressing our bodies flush, then says, I'm feeling pretty starved for kisses right now. Would you mind, Aster? I've wanted to smooch you all night, but you've been ignoring me. It really is cruel. You're breaking my heart here into itty-bitty pieces. What? I look at Blaze, flustered by a newfound closeness, by the sudden change in my position. About 2 seconds ago, I was sitting at my desk. But now I'm pressed up against Blaze's chest. I can hear the sound of his heart humming almost in tandem with my own. I can feel his warm breath against my cheeks. His hair brushes my skin soft and silky, and I tremble. He really is handsome. I've always thought of this about Blaze. Well, as soon as I discovered he wasn't an ordinary cat, at least. But at close quarters like this, he's captivating. I want to cling on to my discontent. I still feel a bit disgruntled, damn it. But I can't, not when he's this close to me. It isn't possible. I inhale, breathing in Blaze's scent. The homey scent of his skin and of his hair, then mumble. Well, I guess that sounds kind of serious. As annoying as you can be, but I don't want to hurt you. Right? I figured as such. You're a pretty sweet guy, Aster, which is why I like you so much. You're adorable. Captivating? No, man. Blaze leads in. The tip of his nose brushes against mine, his eyes half-lidded as he murmurs, "But you're even more adorable when I have you in my arms, and I'm kissing you, and you're whimpering. I think you're at your most adorable like that." What? Blaze, you... I begin, but I don't get a chance to finish this sentence, whatever it might have been. I'm not even sure. That's because, at that moment, Blaze dips his head. His lips find mine, claiming them in a kiss so hot it burns. And as they do, my eyelids fall shut. I can't help myself. Stop that! Stop that! Chat, stop that! I tried to act grumpy earlier, but that's all it was, an act. Now that Blaze is pressing our bodies together and he's kissing me, I can't keep it up. It's impossible. I've never been able to resist Blaze, not when he's like this. I don't think I want to resist him. Daniel, stop! He's back for like round 5! I'd rather stand here, his arms looped around my middle as his mouth continues to press against my own, his teeth gently nibbling my lower lip. I sigh against the kiss once again. I can't help myself, and Blaze uses this to his advantage. His tongue slides into my mouth, turning this kiss into something decidedly wetter and warmer than anything he did with Angelique. I can taste his saliva, can feel his fingers pressing firmly against the ridge of my spine to better support me. He dips his head, altering the angle of the kiss, and it deepens. Okay, I need a hydrate check, bro. Everybody take a sip, please and thank you. Get some water in you. Get thirsty like these boys. I moan against his mouth, helpless, completely incapable of resisting him. And as I kiss back, my short-lived irritation melting away, I find myself thinking that this is fine. It's all I could ever ask for. Not that I ever do ask for it. Typically, I'm too shy to outright demand kisses like this, so Blaze has to try and gauge my mood based on the things I do and say. Alright, chat, open your mouths. Hok-tuh! 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 I got you, don't worry. I know this can't be easy for him, given I'm so huffy, but he doesn't let that stop him. If anybody can cheer me up, Blaze can. Though he's so often the source of my distemper, he always helps wash it clean away. When he kisses me like this, I can't get annoyed or upset by anything. It simply isn't possible. Gross. Well, if you didn't open your mouth, nothing would have happened. Why did you open your mouth? I can't think of anything save how much I love him. Can't do anything except kiss him back. All I want to do is melt into his embrace, our mouths pressed flush, his firm hands supporting my back as the time slides by. Ow! I want to be with him like this forever. Or at least, for as long as it is physically comfortable. I know that nothing, of course, lasts forever. I'm too much of a pragmatist to believe in infinity, but for now, this is more than enough for me. I trusted you, you opened your mouth. It's more than I could ever ask for. Angelique, eat your heart out, the petty part of me thinks. Blaze might have kissed her hand, but I'll never, ever kiss her like this. She can quaff as many potions and tonics and tinctures as she likes, but that won't change the facts.
2 hours later. Blaze
is all mine, and I'm not about to share him. I love him far too much for that. I actually think this is the ending. The end. Yeah, there is no 2 hours later. All's well that ends well. Live happily ever after. Bro! I did not expect an epilogue, I'm not gonna lie. What's the extras? Credits? Okay, one more time for the credits, I think. Okay, credits. Ebi-hime, Ekkoberry, Cryset Base, Free Sempon 5, Finalgo, Watson, Zelen. Thank you so much, team. You guys did a great job. Gallery, you can check out all the photos here for more, okay? Buy the game yourself. That's going in the thumbnail, by the way, that last one. Probably the kiss and this, I guess, are going in the last one. Music. I think we already have all the music. Notes. Hello everyone, and thank you for reading My Confounding Cat is Criminally Cute. I hope you enjoy it, despite the very light novel core title. I was a bit stuck for inspiration, clearly, when naming this, and since the story is set in a vaguely European fantasy world, like a lot of light novels, I decided to give it an obnoxiously long title like some of their offerings. Does not make YouTube titles easy, but thanks, I like it, it's funny. Even though this story isn't an isekai, it's just a plain old fantasy story with some very light world building, and so I'm sorry about that. Light world building? I mean, I guess light world building? I mean, you had a whole government thrown in. You had a whole, you had, an overarching, power system. I don't know about light world building, but it was good, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's great, I love fantasy. Personally speaking. As for the story itself, I usually write notes detailing my inspirations for each of my visual novels so people could see where I pulled my ideas from and what gave me the idea. Criminal Cat, however, is so short and sweet, and it's very straightforward too, that I can't think of too many precise inspirations. It's also very generic fantasy with wizards and witches and vaguely alluded to magical school. It's all stuff you'll have seen in other fantasy stories before. There's nothing that unique here, but maybe that's alright. It's perfectly alright. There's nothing wrong with that for a story like this size. Actually, tell a lie, I do remember what inspired this story specifically. I was reading a lot of I already see the thing, reading a lot of fantasy novels by Diana Wynne Jones, who's best known for writing Howl's Moving Castle. Yes, the novel which Ghibli adapted into their own famous animated movie, a great movie, and I found them very charming. I love how spunky Diana Wynne Jones' characters are and how rich and vibrant the worlds they inhabit live in. I was especially fond of House of Many Ways, which actually exists in the same universe as Howl's Moving Castle, and I like the grumpy, sulky female lead Charmaine a lot. House of Many Ways is a fairly short fantasy story aimed at a younger audience, but the characters were a lot of fun and I liked how lighthearted it was. Plus there was a lot of fun world building in there, and it made me want to write a vaguely European story of my own, and Aster was inspired a little by Charmaine. Aster, like Charmaine, is grumpy and sulky, and doesn't really enjoy spending time with people, but he winds up being stuck with people regardless because he has no choice. Blaze doesn't really have a one-to-one for any character from House of Many Ways, and neither do Angelique, she's just a generic blonde Ojo-sama, or Charmaine. I wanted her to be a cute, cheerful prankster type character, but Charmaine does take her name from House of Many Ways, Charmaine, so there's that. The main general plotline of a character looking after an animal who turns out to be a person who's been cursed is a pretty common fantasy trope, I think. I've seen it in several stories before, including stories which aren't straight up fantasy and more urban fantasy, but I thought it'd be a fun storyline to explore. I've already written one story with a cat who turns into a human myself. That would be Sweetest Monster, but that was a horror story, and I wanted to write something cute and lighthearted with the same premise. I also like cat boys a lot too. It all worked out. Hi, I'm a cat boy. Meow. Actually, you know what? For this, I'm gonna take off the yaoi Jesus, by the way. Yaoi Jesus be gone, okay? Back to normal clock for you, chat. Since most of the commercial BLVNs I've written visual novels I've written so far have kind of dour, gloomy, and or edgy, I thought it'd be nice to write a BL visual novel without anything too depressing. As such, I tried to steer clear of giving Aster a sad past. Both of his parents are still alive, and he's more or less well-adjusted, just grumpy. And while Blaze has a bit of a tragedy going on, he's a pretty chirpy guy. There's no suicidal ideation or assault going on here. It's pure wholesome fluff with a surprising amount of kissing, lol. I was also inspired to write this story in part after playing the free visual novel Just Kiss Him Already by Ekkoberry. Put it back on! No! No, I won't! It's done, the game is over, that's the deal, I play it until the game is over. I thought their art for this project was so cute, I immediately knew I have to work on a project with this artist too. I want them to illustrate one of my stories. I messaged Ekkoberry about it, who agreed to my delight, and I wound up basing the story in part around their art style. Ekkoberry's art is kind of cartoony, and everybody looks very soft and round and sweet. Reminds me of the first time I played one of Ekkoberry's games, and I called their characters femboys, and Ekkoberry laughed because they said they're not a femboy. But I was like, I'm sorry. Everybody in my chat for Altalite, or I think it's Altalite the game, I think that we're talking about the first time I played one of Ekkoberry's games, and we were like, femboy. And they were like, he's not a femboy. They were like, it's fine that you called him a femboy though. It's mostly because the art style. They're very, I'm not gonna lie, they're very girlish. And that's okay. I think they're very cute. Okay, so I figured out from the get-go our rated 18 was going to be off the table, and I didn't want to delve into any topics which were too serious. I tried to pair the tone of the story with the art style to get something that's cohesively light and humorous. I also pared down my usual writing style a bit, stripping out a lot of the description to make it feel a bit more fast-paced. Not sure if it worked out, but hopefully the slightly breezier writing style and the adorable art and UI work well together. I think it worked very, very well together. In fact, if it was more description heavy, I'd probably feel I was reading like Harry Potter, where we'd spend like 2 pages on a waterfall, okay? This was perfect. I appreciate it, at least. Personally, I'm pretty imaginative. I don't need a lot to get an idea in my head, like an image in my head, you know? I don't need a lot of description. I know some people do, but I don't, and I prefer it that way. I like my imagination. In any case, that's all I have to say about this story. Once again, I hope you enjoyed your time with it, and thank you for checking it out. I hope you enjoyed it. Abby X. Return. Awesome! So that was My Confounding Cat is Criminally Cute. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ebi-hime and Ekkoberry did a great job on it, to everyone who worked on this game. But Ebi-hime, great story. I liked it. It really hit the head on trying to emulate something like Just Kiss Him Already. Something like that's very similar to this. That's a little more spicier than this would be NomNomNami's Starry Flowers, which I've also played on the channel. I'll leave a link to both of those games. They're very cute. Very cute, wholesome. I enjoy that kind of story a lot. A lot of people want to go heavy into the, you know, heavy into sexual tension, and that's fine. That's what's popular. I get it. Especially edgy. But I like stories like this. It's cute, it's fun. You know, sometimes that's what you want. Anyways, I'm not very good at this whole thing. I am a writer, but I don't share my stuff. I just write for myself. So I appreciate that last little end word. Like I said, I'm very imaginative, so I don't really need a lot of description or care for much because it limits your imagination, right? So I liked it. I think it was very good. Any thoughts, chat? You liked it or not? Let them know, seriously, in the comments below and stuff. I probably won't separate the epilogue and chapter 3. I'll probably just make them one video for YouTube. So YouTube, if you're watching this, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, my name's Clock, and we play lots of games just like this. So please, clock that like button and subscribe. You'll like it, I swear. I play a lot of visual novels, dating sims, and indie horror games as well. And I upload daily. And I guess for this series, I'm going to be uploading like 4 times in a day. So that's not very common, but at least 1 video a day. And we stream all the time over at Twitch/MrClockWorks. So check me out sometime. I know I say my name is Clock. My channel is MrClockWorks. We just go by Clock for short. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, okay, everybody? Bye!